human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. It's the Friday night love stream. So glad you guys could make it to join me. I am running a little bit behind schedule. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Good to see you. Sonny, Ansel's dad. Welcome. Country lady. Welcome to all of you. Let's see here. I'm going to open up the phone lines right away. Just so if you guys want to call in, you can do that. You can be the first. I don't have anyone preloaded tonight. Also, remember that you can call in if you're abroad. You can call in using Facebook Messenger. And that requires that we're friends, of course. So if we're not already friends on there, you can send a request and I will accept it. And let me make sure the phone lines are open. Okay, we're all good to go. So, energies are high. Hey, Michelle's opinions. Preliminal. Analytical mystic. Love. Universe. I love the names. People are so creative. For those of you that have not heard, I am, as far as the Sam's updates, Nathan is going to be doing that on his channel live. So it won't be here on Unbiased and On the Fence. But they will continue. The show must go on. They will just be on Nathan's channel. So be sure you check that out. His links are in any of the videos. You can check out the playlist. And with that, let me double check my Facebook to make sure I'm able to hear. Let's see here. All right, so tonight is open phone lines, open topics, any questions or comments or anything you have to discuss, a story you want to share, anything at all. Also, I checked into the other phone system, and as far as I can tell, you can't mute. You can have multiple callers, but you can't control the mute on them. So I was like, oh man, it's like this would be perfect to use. It's more of a conferencing service, but I would need the ability to be in complete control over the mutes, or people, you might have trolls that come in and unmute it. So until I can find something better to use, I'm going to have to use this. But I can teeter-totter between the Facebook and the phone number. So we can make this work for the time being. No problem. It's not like I got a ton of callers. In fact, the phone lines aren't even lighting up yet. Let's see. All the way from Australia, Nicola, sorry. I always get the accent wrong on that. It's awesome. Nicola is actually joining us from the future. Can you believe it? It's already Saturday. It's not the Friday night love stream for her. It's the Saturday afternoon love stream. It's interesting. Gotta love it. Of course, it's early morning for those of you joining from the UK, but you guys can call in. Any of you can call in using Facebook as well if you'd like to join in. If no one calls, I'll just pick somebody. There we go. Welcome to the broadcast. How are you doing, Debbie? Doing wonderful. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, you're calling me directly on Hangouts because you have that information. But when people call in with the phone number, it goes through the same thing. So it still works. So you're still calling in the same way as everyone else. You just use the back door, which is totally cool with me. Yeah, right. It's like you use the red phone or something, you know, like the presidential line or something. That's cool. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Everybody can't hear you. I just realized that. Sorry, it's Debbie Hazleton, you guys. Okay. Wait, you're still not coming through for some reason. Let me see what's going on here. I might need to. I'm so glad I noticed this before everyone else started. Like, hey, we can't hear. I'm working on it, you
Uh-oh.
guys. Hold on a second here. I think that.
I should have done video too. I didn't even think that.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing video though, so it's
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, good.
I just got a picture on the screen. I'm not even on the camera tonight.
Can they
Um,
hear?
because the reason I'm not on the camera is because I have to run everything from one computer to be able to hear the phone call and for the viewers to hear it. So it's just too taxing
Hmm.
to run the camera at the same time. But yeah, everyone
Yeah.
can hear you now, so it's all good. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
good. Well, I was thinking of a couple things to mention. I I heard your 11-minute video, your kind of like not really disclaimer, but what you were saying, and I heard what your announcement just now, and I like Nathan. I just think, yeah, that whole thing mushroomed. And this morning I caught the video of the woman who actually had offered him the QHHT session, and it was bizarre because she didn't know any of what was going on. And then it all mushroomed in a weird, just over the top way. It's too bad that, people got, so out of proportion with that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm sure I'll level off. And she was really in an okay place in spite of everything. She's like, I'm fine. I just don't understand all of what happened. But maybe it
Yeah.
was partly because we were in the middle of Mercury and all these other aspects, and so
Well,
anyway.
I think what happened was, for those who may not have caught it, I'm surprised I even figured it out. Somebody had just left a comment right after I had Nathan on the last time, left a comment that said, "Here's another perspective," and I'm like, "Well, what's this about?" And I noticed it was Tuesday's Gone YouTube channel, where she had did her interpretation of the same songs that Nathan had gotten, and it
Mm,
was in favor of QHHT. And
mm-hmm.
I guess that upset him because he had made her a moderator, and then she sort of gave her own interpretations, which were different than his. And he since, and then he, I guess, unmodded her or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and she wasn't in the
Well,
group anymore, and all this stuff happened. It's sort of
oh,
just
that's
spiraled
too
out. So
bad. That's too bad because, to me, if he wants, or any of us, if we want other people to be in touch with the source, then we need to be careful not to be too, on a power trip or ego driven with it. I mean, we need to leave room for everybody to have their answers, is all I mean, you
oh
know.
yeah.
And so that's too bad. But boy, I guess we're all learning. We're all learning. The other thing I wanted to share, I think we just went through a big wave last week. I was hearing that there was a wave that we were getting hit with last week. And all of a sudden, yesterday, I started to feel really different, like a different level of peace, a different level of clarity. And I'm just wondering if other people, or if you've noticed anything different this week with energy a different level of anything that you've noticed.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've been getting these waves of just really heaviness where I have to just take a nap for like a half hour or something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the deal is, but it's just so heavy. I mean, it just feels like it just turned into 4 o'clock in the morning and you've been up all day and you just stayed up, and it's like all of a sudden you're just so tired, and so I don't fight it. I just go lay down and take a little nap, and,
Sure.
and I wake up feeling great. And I don't really I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think 20. I think I took a 27-minute nap earlier, and I felt so refreshed. I don't really know. I can't imagine. And I had plenty of sleep last night, so it really wasn't like I was short on sleep. It was like maybe I needed an upgrade or a download or something.
Interesting. I've been up really early, like 4 in the morning. I mean, I'm just awake.
Hmm.
And then I might take a little nap later or early in the evening. And but I love the early morning.
Hmm.
It's kind of interesting. But I really noticed something different with energy yesterday. And I was on Hangouts with Sylvia Molera, and she was also noticing. That it was different energy and some major aspect with Virgo coming into play that seemed to, be a real positive. I don't remember exactly what it was that she said about Virgo, but anyway, I just, in case anybody else is feeling like, wow, there was some sort of a tendril or some different level of something, I think we really did get a whammy of a wave last week. And I was hearing from Michael and Kevin on Transformotion, they're saying that we're likely to get really strong waves September, October, and November, the 22nd of each of those. But
Mm.
that we were definitely getting something strong last week. So
Yeah.
just interesting.
It sure is. Yeah, I've been feeling like the energies are just constantly changing. Just a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? Just inching along.
Yeah.
But that's
I
good
know
news.
I know you were looking at Michaela Sheldon on YouTube, and I found her on Facebook and I found her website, and her assistant. When I added her on Facebook, her assistant wrote me a nice message on Messenger. It was really nice. Um, I was honored, but I wondered if you. I wondered if you thought at all about maybe trying to have her on.
I had thought about trying to get her on. I haven't reached out to her yet, but
Hmm.
I would like to get her on sometime because I was just enjoying what she's already put out, actually, to
Me
be honest.
too.
So it was like I was, and she might be able to channel when she comes on too, because it seems like
Oh,
she's
I
able
think
to
she
just
does
do
all
it.
the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
that's
does.
awesome.
And I I don't know, I just resonated so much with her, and I found several other videos of hers out there. So
Yeah,
I just think she's really wonderful. So
totally agree. A lot of
very,
great
very
information.
cool. And there's a guy, I don't know if you listen to Project Camelot, but there's a man named John D'Souza who was on there last week, and he
Is that the
ta
FBI guy that was just on there?
yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah,
He
that's
has
so funny that you said that because I came across them like a long time ago, and I haven't really checked out any of their videos. But all of a
oh,
sudden, I've been watching Project Camelot videos, and I was
oh,
like, oh man, I really probably need to. You know how I did it is I remember how I found it. I was looking up stuff about vaccines and went to Leak Project because I
oh.
knew he's covered it quite a bit, and
Mm.
I found a video that just came up like as a recommended video where he was what is her name? Is it Sharon or Shannon?
Carrie Cassidy?
Carrie Cassidy.
Yeah.
That's right. She was on with him, and then that was like, oh yeah,
Oh,
Project Camelot. I need to go back. So I started watching her videos, and I came
good.
across the one you were just talking about. It's amazing.
It was such a great video, and I got his book. Actually, I got all his books, but his book, Clear Hearers, Clear
Mm-hmm.
Hearers. He's talking in that about what happened to him, where he found this way of hearing the great voice,
Mm-hmm.
and then he talks about suggesting different things that people could do to hear more of that, and I, he thinks, he goes on saying, he doesn't really recommend channeling or channelers. And I'm more like where you are with that, and what you said yesterday to the woman you had on. I think in a way we're all channeling.
Yeah.
Now, if we, I don't know that it's a good idea to pay lots of money and go and and maybe when people are going into trance, or there may be things that some people are doing that aren't totally legit. He says that when certain people are really open, that any souls can come in and it's fair game, and you can't really pick and choose. But like Michaela, she channels, she'll say the Pleiadians or the High Council, or the Andromedans want to come
Yeah.
through. She's not saying it's specific voices. But I
Yeah.
think in a way, like you said, we're all channeling, we're all downloading,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, and I
good.
think some people just have that clearer connection. I think all of our connections are going to get clearer over time.
I
I
do
already feel
too.
like it's getting better.
I do
It's
too.
it's never quite as clear as I want it to be, but that's
Yeah.
just par for the course, I think.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. But it's ongoing and building, and so
Mm-hmm.
cool, so cool.
Yeah, it is
So,
amazing.
well, anyway, Clear Hearers is an awesome book. It's out there on Kindle, and it's great to have Kindle. I'm really
What
happy.
what's his name one more time?
John D'Souza, Desouza.
Okay.
John D'Souza.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, and he was just on Project Camelot. You can actually go to
Yeah,
their YouTube channel if you want to check that video out. It was one of the most recent
it
updates.
was last week.
Yeah, and he talks about the loud voice and the quiet voice we all have all the
Hmm.
time, but the loud voice that's actually saved his life. He goes into a few
Did,
stories that
yes.
were. I was captivated.
I was too.
My uh, I was sitting in the car waiting on my wife, and I was just drawn to the radio. It was like time was flying by as I'm listening to a story. He's a great storyteller, and I was totally the whole dagger story or whatever, and his leg wouldn't
Oh,
move and all
yeah.
that. I was sitting there
Yeah,
just like, oh my gosh, this is
that
so
was
intense.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he told a few, and then he really gave a lot of, his perceptions. And I thought it was great too. He retired from the FBI. It wasn't like, they chewed him up and spit him out or anything like that. He just got tired of what he saw, and he retired and continued on his spiritual path.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yes, my
thought,
daughter did get moved. Kate.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got her all moved. We finished up late last night, so
Cool.
it wasn't that
Oh,
big of a deal. You know.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's nice. I bet she appreciated all that you did. That's really neat.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was just it's like anything kind of out of the normal daily grind is kind of cool anyway. Even if it kind of sucks a little bit, at least it's not the same old mundane thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Well,
Excellent.
I should probably go and see who else wants to call you up, but when I thought, well, nobody was calling, I'd get in here and say hello. And
I appreciate you calling.
yeah, well, it's great to say hi, and always. And much love to everyone. Everyone, everyone. Yes, indeed. All those red hearts and all those different colored hearts and flowers. All righty.
All right, lots of love to
Thank
you. Thank you,
you.
Debbie.
Okie dokie. Bye
Okay, bye
bye.
bye. There we go. Okay, Debbie Hazleton. She was actually on the program for those of you who don't know. So you can. That wasn't. What was it, like a week or two ago? So you can go back and check that out if you'd like. Very nice interview. Let me get her name off the screen and get the number up on the screen. And open the phone line. Okay. Phone line is open, so you can call. Let me see. Okay. Overprotected. Sherry is here. How are you doing, Sherry? This is Shane. Welcome to the broadcast. Who am I talking to? April from Albuquerque. How are you doing, April?
Very good.
Welcome back to the program.
Oh, thank you. Hey, you guys were talking about Michaela Sheldon, and I just got back from ECETI, and she was one of the speakers.
Oh, what was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. She did, some healing work, through the star beings on us. I did a workshop. I did 2 sessions with her, and one of the workshops, she just kept downloading us with so much information. It was just like one download and then another download. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was sitting right next to her. And it was just really spectacular. In fact, they were telling a story about Michaela, and she was with somebody else, and they were in Palladian Circle. This is a circle they have at ECETI, and it's special for meditation. And some other people went in with her, and she was meditating, and they just like lost track of time, and like somebody was trying to get a hold of the other people, and they were going, "What's up? We were just gone like 15 minutes," and they go, "You were gone for 2 hours," and they just had lost that time while they were in Palladian Circle.
Oh, wow.
So
that's similar to the hypnosis sessions when they're like, hey, it was like 20 minutes or something. Like, no, it was 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah. It's just such a magical place. I put out, like the intention that I wanted a gentle experience with Bigfoot, because a lot of people got to see them. They got to see Bigfoot while we were there at ECETI, and some of the kids found footprints of. So I got some pictures of the footprints, but I did this. I had brought in this apple from Albuquerque, and I set it on this big boulder behind my tent. Mm-hmm. And so, because they say they like the apples as a gift, and so we were busy all day, and I came back and the apple was gone, and I go, oh, cool, the apple's gone, So, but later that evening, the overnight, I got up like 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom. And, it's all dark, it's, foresty, and walking back, I kind of had the sense that Bigfoot might be around. And I was kind of looking around, but, it's kind of scary because I'm out there by myself. And
right.
I went back to my tent, and I laid down, and I go, what's that? And I reached behind me, and right in the middle of my sleeping bag was that apple. The same apple I had put out.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of freaky. So what do you think is what I've heard that they're actually more advanced than we are, and they're like multi-dimensional, and that's why we can't ever catch them, because they can just shift into a different dimension or something. Is that sort of how you view it? Because that would fit in line with that. I read a spectacular series on a book about, they call them the old ones, the native people call it the Bigfoot, the old ones, and this series of books that I read by June O'Brien, it just explains them, just so wonderfully. And I do believe that they're multidimensional beings. And in fact, they have a little pond there, and I was out there by myself in a little kayak, and I looked over, and there was this big tree, and I could see the face of a Bigfoot in that tree. Oh, wow.
Because they can, transmute themselves into trees or deers, or, they can disappear, just very easily.
Yeah.
So that's why we never, catch them. But they do show themselves at ECETI, so I was, happy when I heard people did get to see them.
That's cool. That's funny. It reminds me of that movie, Harry and the Hendersons, that I loved so much as a kid. Did you see that?
Yeah, because people said they saw him, and then he just, disappeared.
All right.
A few footprints, and then he was just gone. So you always think, oh, did you get a picture? And I'm like, the only way you can catch a picture is if you're just, taking pictures, of just the scenery, and then you might catch, a ship. Because they were taking pictures of the mountain, and then they caught a starship, on Mount Adams, going across Mount Adams.
Oh, wow.
So it's just magical. It is really something.
That'd be a magical place to live.
Yeah, people were like, oh, they're like crying because they don't want to go home because all the people that go there are just like into the same things we are, and so you can carry on these wonderful conversations, and you don't have to worry about people thinking you're strange or, oh, that's not true, whatever, because everybody's into it too. So it's just like, you just have these wonderful long conversations, and, people are just happy to be there and excited, about everything that's going on there.
Reminds me of the chat, the way everybody can just sort of chat about whatever they want and feel comfortable talking about whatever.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And I don't know if you've heard of this. They also have a new site called OnStellar. Have you heard of that?
No, OnStellar. It's a website.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Facebook for woo, is how I call it.
Oh.
So you can have all the things that we're interested in on Stellar, and you can get your little page. And they don't have it quite up totally as they want it, but that should be happening soon. But it's a nice site for people like us that a lot of us are getting people get kicked off
Yeah.
different sites. So this is a site just special just for our kind of crowd. So
That's
I
nice.
just hadn't heard it spoke of, so I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's called onstellar.com.
Yeah, you could just look, press on still, and you should be able to find it. And then, it just has all the neat things we, like to.
Oh,
and
there's
I know,
an app and
I know
everything.
Michaela's on there. A lot of Holly Marie. You were talking about D'Souza. He's on there. He's one of my friends on there. So it's it's like,
cool.
wow, this is cool. I'm friends with
Yeah.
people that you're always hearing on the radio and stuff.
Oh, that's excellent. That's awesome. That's cool.
So I think what else happened while I was there.
Was that your first time?
Because I was on the chat the other day, and somebody goes, "Get on Friday night so we can hear about ESAD."
Yeah.
We were doing one of our workshops, and they have a bigger conference room there, and some of the people from outside were looking above the conference room, and they could see a ship right over our conference room.
No way. That's
Yep.
wild. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was lucky enough to get a special session with James Gilliland, private session with him, and the night before, like my first night in my little tent, I woke up and this is ball of light, and it's flashing on and off like a flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa, what's that? I'm not used to camping and stuff, so I'm like this ball of light's flashing in my little tent, and I'm like, okay, and then it disappeared, and then it sounded like somebody unzipped my outer layer of my tent. I'm like, what is that? I'm a little scared. And so the next day I had a session with James, and I asked him, he goes, oh, those were just the elementals, the fairies. They were just having fun, welcoming you and all that. And I'm like, oh.
That is so cool. Wow.
So every day there was some kind of experience like that there.
That's amazing. Yeah, I hope that spreads all over, you know what I mean, at some point. That's kind of what I imagine.
Well, they say that, we take it back with us. So, all the people that were there will go home and spread this magical, stuff around.
And it's like growing up, I always thought the world would be more magical. But, you're just told that, stop dreaming, stop thinking like that, but it's so cool to finally be able to dream like a little kid again about stuff like that and it actually be true, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, when you're at ESAD, they say, if something gets taken or you misplace or lose something, sometimes it's the fairies. Yeah. And so they say, just, ask politely for the fairies to return it, and then they'll return it. So this one guy came up to my tent site, and he says, I lost my car keys. It's a car, like the rentals, they have these cards for the, to get you into the cars.
Right.
And to start them and stuff. And he lost it. And I go, oh, the fairies took it. And he goes, fairies, he didn't really believe in it. I go, no, you got to ask nicely for the fairies to return it. That's the thing here. And so he begrudgingly kind of did it, And so then he was helping me with some packages, and he dropped the packages, and it just like out of thin air, the card just plopped out on the ground.
What? That's wild.
And so, we both saw it just kind of just whoop out of thin air. And so he's like trying to, work it in his mind, how did that happen? What, I can't understand this, he wasn't open to the magic, but he couldn't deny it because it just happened.
That's amazing. It's like their little game they play of hide and go seek type of game
Mm-hmm.
or something. That's neat.
Because they're playful, the fairies are very playful, and they want to make it fun for us while we're there. So bring a little magic to us.
They must have a ton of socks, because I think they're probably the one that always takes the match to the sock, aren't they?
Well, now gently ask them for it back.
They're like, little sleeping bags.
Or I always say if there's a vortex in that dryer.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing, though, just to think in such a magical way like that, and to actually, I can totally see it being like, it would still be hard to believe, you know what I mean? I can totally relate with that guy, just still denying it, because it's just so hard to wrap your head around, that there's more going on than that, Yeah,
I could see his mind working, trying to figure it out, trying this logical whatever way. How did that just happen? I know the card was not here.
right.
How did it? So that was pretty crazy. And another thing in Palladian Circle for me, they have this little wooden pyramid, and you can meditate while you're in the circle with this chair. And my one friend was telling me that the Palladian gave them these crystals. They each got a special little rock crystal while they were in Palladian Circle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I go, I think I got a gift too. I go, I was sitting in the chair meditating, and this crystal fell down in my lap.
Wow.
And I thought maybe somebody had stuck it up there, but really there was no way to stick anything up on the top of that pyramid. It was open. And it was like a little, it was actually a nice size amethyst. And if I'd realized, because I just wasn't thinking, that it was a gift, I would have kept it. But each time I would go in the circle to meditate, I would just pick that crystal up and use it to meditate with. But I didn't bring it home because I didn't realize that they were gifting me.
Right. That's so wild.
Yeah. It just like I say, every day there would be a new gift of a surprise of something like that happening.
So is that place, is it like you, what is it like? Do you just pick the amount of time you want to stay, or is there like tours, for lack of a better word, or a week-long trip, or how does it actually work at East Eddy Ranch?
I know, that was the crazy, I'd known about East Eddy for years, and I didn't know how to do it. I was like, how do you get there? How does this work?
Yeah.
And so finally, I listened to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black Radio, and he went last year and just was raving about it. And so this year he put together a conference called Soul Tech. And so I said, oh, I have to go. If I got to listen to Jimmy for 6 months talk about this, I'll explode. So I just said, okay, I'm going to go. So I signed up, and then I just had to figure out how to get there, because what I did is I flew into Portland, and then I rented a car and drove in, and then I had to bring all my camping gear with me because they didn't have enough. They do have some lodging and some tents that they rent, but because it was such a big conference, by the time I got in, they were already, people had reserved them already. So if you go when there's not a conference, sometimes you can just lodge there. So what I did is I just got, a very small tent and little chair and all my little stuff and packed it in a duffel bag. And,
right.
And then another bag for my clothes. And then I just drove in, and it's just magical. The whole way, it's beautiful Columbia River, going from the airport, and just, you know, it's just magical even just driving up there.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, it was like all the animals were saying goodbye to me as I was leaving the ranch. There was a deer here. You know, I hadn't seen a deer the whole time. There was a deer. There was a hawk flying. There's another deer, another animal. It was like they were saying goodbye to me as I was leaving the ranch.
Oh, wow.
But it's just, you know, you drive in, you know, it's very simple. It's not like a high end. It's just very basic. And they hired a caterer, so we didn't have to worry about food. And but like I say, if you eat, sometimes they just have sky watches where you get to watch for starships, and there's nothing going on those weekends, and you can go. And it was like $30 for the campsite. If you rented a tent, it was $60.
Oh, okay.
And then the cabins are, you know, they're different prices. And sometimes you can get, you know, a session with James Gilliland, or, you know, if there's a workshop going on, they have all kinds of different workshops through this, you know, there's seasons like, you know, when it gets cold, they close the ranch down, so they don't do it in the cold time.
Where's it located again? Like,
what was that?
Where's the location of it?
It's Trout Lake, Washington.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know
so
why
what you do is you fly into Portland, and then you drive in, and it's like an hour and a half to drive to the ranch.
Oh, wow. For some reason, I was thinking it was south, like Texas or Arizona or something closer to you.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, like I say, at first I just didn't know how to do it, but now, you know, I did it one time, so now I could do it. I know how to do it now.
That would be cool to have a get together there, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would. I mean, they have all kinds of different groups that, you know, if you put it together something and you want to do it at the ranch, you know, that's possible.
Oh,
You know, because they have all kinds of different groups. They'll have, you know, just different people that want to have, like, you know, Jimmy Church did Soul Tech. He got it together, and the speakers. Oh my gosh, there were so many good speakers. And it was workshops. So we were learning and getting downloads and healings and all kinds of stuff during all the sessions.
Yeah, that's. I was just sitting here thinking of, you know, we're working on a book together, and I was talking to Eileen. We were planning on a conference in Chicago, but it would be cool to do a second one there, maybe, and just get a big group of us. You know, people from the Mandela Effect community, and then people that just from the whole QHHT community and channels and all sorts of things, and have something there, you know, workshops. I know a lot of people are
yeah,
in
that would be
crystals.
Wonderful. And they just, you know, they set up tents all over the place for all the different workshops, and then they had a big conference center for the bigger speakers and stuff. So you just contact the ranch and see if, you know, they can work in their next year's schedule.
That'd be cool. How many people would you say were there during this conference?
Well, they were planning on 300, but I don't think there was 300. I think it was more like 200.
Oh, okay.
So you could still have quite a few people there. It's, you know, it's a nice-sized ranch, and there's a river close by to cool off, and they have a little pond there on the ranch, and they have little farm animals and gardens and stuff like that there.
Oh, Trout Lake is near Mount St. Helens. Go-Kart Bob is saying.
I'm not exactly sure. All I know is I drove to, I can't remember the little town now, and you cross this bridge, and then you're in Washington, and then you just drive a little ways further, and you're at the ranch.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a real cute little town outside the ranch, and, you know, with a little general store and diner and little bed and breakfasts. There are some hotels and bed and breakfasts close by if you don't like to camp.
Oh, okay. Were you able to get any pictures while you were there at all?
Yeah, I got a picture of, there was a Bigfoot footprint, and so I got a picture of the footprint, and I had my little foot, you know, inside the footprint, you know, so you can see, and they had a little tape measure. And it was only part of the footprint, and you could see how big the footprint was and how it was deep, too.
Oh, like
and
they're heavy, huh? Like
Go ahead.
I said, like they're heavy, like they weigh a lot, huh?
Yeah, it was like really, and that was hard packed dirt. And there was a group of little kids running around, and they wanted to see Bigfoot so badly, and they were running around, and they actually found 4 other footprints near the Field of Dreams, and they were so proud of themselves because they found the footprints, and everybody got pictures and all that. So
That's
yeah. You just like you're talking about this, you're like, oh, how did this happen?
Oh man, gosh, I want to go so bad now. It's like, well, it's definitely on my list. It's already been on my list, but
Well, it's something you could do inexpensively if there wasn't any workshops and $30 a day, you had your own tent and whatever. I mean, that's even if you just went for a few days, $30 a day is hardly anything.
Yeah.
And then you just bring your own food. But if you want to go and see a workshop, of course, then things you have to charge for those kind of things. So.
Yeah.
But they have all different types. They had remote viewing, healer workshops. Just all kinds of different people go there.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you plan on going back again? It sounds like at some point.
I hope to. It's I'm glad I'm still digesting. All the. I mean, because I kind of maxed it out. I mean, I had a session with James. I had 2 sessions with Holly Marie. She's a shaman, and they have James's brother Jay does healing massages and stuff. So I did one of those.
Nice.
So I figured out sleeping on that tent, I might need one.
Totally, yeah.
I said my bed had never felt so soft when I got home.
But it was worth it. Give a little.
It was because the land is, the vibration from the land. So when you're sleeping on the ground, I mean, you're getting all that vortex, energy just from the land.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And even if you can't see some of the ships, or starships are far, you can see because every night they have a sky watch, and you can see the ships, going by, and even if you have the night vision goggles, of course you can see them so much better.
Right.
But the ships are close, but we aren't at that vibration to see them. Some people can see them and others can't. So, But those ships and the beings are there supporting the ranch and everybody that's there.
Wow. That's wild. I actually wanted one of those. What are they called? Those infrared cameras where I've seen side-by-side comparisons where they use a regular camera and then an infrared camera, or one with infrared technology on it, and you can see things like ships in it that you can't see with the regular camera, and it's amazing that it's like things are showing up. I'm like, and it's hard to find those. I looked around and they sell them for like, in construction, they check the house to see if it's leaking and stuff, but it's hard to find them.
You can find, that have the night vision goggles or the cameras, but, they're very expensive. I was like, they were joking, yeah, I got to sell my first kid to get one of them. Because they're expensive.
Yeah, they were. It was like $300 or $400.
I did get to look through one, and I did see the orbs. You could see several orbs through them where I couldn't see with my own eyes.
Right.
So that was neat.
That's amazing. Well, that's wonderful. When was this? Last week or the week before?
I think I've been home maybe 2 weeks now. So that's why I wanted to call in when I was still pretty fresh. Before I get to lose your memory of the events as time goes on. But
right. So the weather was pretty nice then, since it's sort of north.
Luckily, we didn't have much rain. I think just one day it rained. But we were I was in my workshop and we had a tent over us, so it wasn't an issue. It was actually kind of hot. I wish I had went to the river and cooled off and I didn't realize the pond was just right there too. So you can cool off if it is hot. They have the river's right there, and they do have a little pond to cool off in. Because I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be in the 80s, and it was not. It was in the 90s. Hitting close to 100. It was a little bit hot. So, but,
is there a lot of trees there for shade?
What was that?
Trees for shade?
Yeah, my tent was in the trees, and there was trees to shade us and everything, and I would just go cool off. They had showers and stuff there, and we just sometimes we just go out and take a drive just so we can be in the air conditioned car, just sit in the car because it definitely got hot.
Oh, really?
If you have heat issues, you might want to wait till later in the season because it was. I just like I say, I thought it was going to be in the 80s, and it got a little hot there, but it cooled off in the evenings. It was cool in the mornings. So that's you could just go cool off in the river.
Right. So there was options to stay cool.
We went early. I went early, and so I got to spend a whole week there. Usually the conferences are maybe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
But because this was a special event, they let you go earlier. Sometimes they don't always let you go so early, and that may be opening up. I'm not sure how that will work.
Do you think if you go...
Go ahead.
You think if you go again, you'll just do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing?
No, I'll spend a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you go that far away, then you definitely...
It's a lot to get there, and I just, if I'm going to go, I want to, if I live close by, then I would just do the weekend thing.
Yeah.
But when you got to fly in and rent a car and all that, I just want to stay the whole week because...
Yeah.
I don't know if as much as I want to get there again, I don't know when that's going to happen. So I thought I'm going to take the opportunity while it's here.
Yeah, because think about like flying there and renting the car. I guess you got to pay for the extra days, but you're still having to fly there and fly back. You might as well stay long enough to make it worth it.
Yeah, because each day you're there, you are shifting.
Oh, you are awesome.
You are not the same person when you come back.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
so
wonderful.
Put it on your bucket list.
It's on my list, definitely. Yeah, it'd be cool to do some shows from there and stuff. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and that would be cool to do a workshop there too. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely come, Shane.
Well, I'll work on it. Maybe I can manifest some kind of workshop there. That'd be cool. 2019. Yeah. Hopefully in the spring or fall.
You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, in the spring or the fall when it's a little cooler, maybe.
Yeah. And so that would be, just call the, I know they have the eCity website and just email them and see what's going on with that and how that would work.
Yeah, I just shared the link in the chat, and I'm looking at the website now. It's pretty cool, so.
Mm-hmm.
So I will definitely check that out. And thank you so much for sharing your experience, April.
Oh, you're welcome, Shane, and thank you so much for your show.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, April from Albuquerque talking about eStudy and a conference. She went there a few weeks back, which is awesome. I would love to go there. It's already been on my list of things to do, but now I'm that much more excited about going. Lots of stuff to do there. Before opening up the phone lines, let me get April's name off the screen there. And... okay. Yes, I'm ready now. Whoops. I didn't mean that. Sorry about that. Sorry, Nicola. Okay, I'm trying to get a hold of you now. Let's see. Nicola, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Shane.
How's
Am
it
I
going?
live?
Yes, you are live.
Oh, hello. Hi, everybody in the chat.
Okay. Oh, I was putting your name. I was typing your name in here. Nicola from Australia.
Australia,
What part of
Brisbane.
Australia?
Brisbane, which is southeast of Queensland, right down the
Ah,
bottom of Queensland. If you know, do you know like the shape of Australia? Yeah, just on the southeast tip there, yeah,
oh,
on the
okay.
southeast edge. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
It's lovely. It's beautiful. Yeah, it gets really, really hot in the summer though. Really, 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 really hot. But lots, very humid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's like middle of winter now, though, right? For you?
Yes, but it feels like English summer because I come from England and it's beautiful. The sun is out. It feels like it's a summer day. No rain. Winter is not. There's no such thing as winter in Australia. Like maybe you get cold in July, but the
That's.
thing we haven't experienced. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just sitting here. That's just July is your cold month. That's just kind of a trip.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, we maybe get 3 weeks of
And like
winter.
how cold does it get?
About 17 degrees. I can't interpret that into Fahrenheit. You're still into Fahrenheit, aren't you, over there?
Yeah.
So that's 17 degrees Celsius. So, that could be,
Here, I can
think,
convert it really quick. It's
maybe
62.
68. Oh, 62. Yeah, there you go.
62? That's your cold day?
Yeah, roughly, yeah. And it gets about 11 degrees or 8 degrees overnight. So if you can convert that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Right down in South Australia, we do get some snow, but I've never been to the snow. My husband has, though. Yeah, so yeah, it was good.
That's so trippy.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that's 51 degrees at night. That's so there's still no
yeah.
ice or snow or any of that
No, no,
horribleness.
and we feel cold then. Yeah, I was I went swimming when I first got to Australia in winter, but when I was 12, but the next year it was freezing. I wouldn't go swimming
Oh wow.
because I acclimatized. Yeah,
So when did you come from England? When did you move from England?
in 1988, just as I turned 12. Yeah, so
Oh, so do you
it was.
remember the snow ever?
I do. I remember exactly how it feels. Yeah, love it. I'd love to feel it again. Yeah, yeah, it's
Uh,
beautiful. Yeah, I remember once it was so deep, I stepped outside the back door and it came almost up to my waist.
oh
And
wow.
we rolled a ball home, and then we built a massive snowman that was taller than us in the backyard that day. It was huge. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome though. Yeah, I would love to wake up and you just have no idea and you look out the window and it's like all white and snowy and you're like, "Oh my gosh," and
Yeah.
there's a certain feeling about that.
Yeah, it's so clear and clean.
Mhm.
Everything is clean and
Yeah.
crisp, and when you breathe it, there's that smell, that one certain smell that you can never forget. It's a bit
Yeah.
like going down on an ice skating rink. Have you been ice skating before? Have you been ice
Indoors, not
skating?
outdoors.
Indoors, yeah, I've been indoors. Yeah, yeah, I've only been indoors. I used to do figure skating, like sort of semi-professionally
Oh
for
wow.
years up until I was 11, and then Mum stopped when I was going to get a male partner and go to Germany to represent England, but she didn't want me to go. It was too far, and by myself, only being 11. So, and yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
I,
understand.
I stopped, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So are you able to ice skate down there ever?
I have, yes, I have. And when I was 17 when I first tried, and it all come back the muscle memory, but I just kept falling over, couldn't quite do the spins in the air. But then I had a car accident at 19,
Mhm.
and I've only been ice skating once, just around the rink. Yeah, so I got low back problems from that. So yeah, it was a bit of a pile up. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
bummer.
So
Getting
yeah,
hurt and
yeah,
getting older, and yeah, it's
yeah.
just. But
I
hopefully,
know.
we'll get some new bodies soon. That would be awesome.
Oh, well, my back is feeling better. That's what I know it's getting better. I absolutely
Awesome.
know it is. Yeah, but the thing is, I hurt my shoulder and crap my rib. Sorry, my what's that bit? Oh, I forgot the bone. Anyway, the bone that joins all the ribs up together. The Yeah, get that one.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
don't
cracked that
know.
one. Yeah, that one. Anyway, I've forgotten it.
Somebody would tell
Um,
us in the chat. They always do.
yeah. I
It's
can't think of it
amazing
at the
the
moment.
information we have as a collective, because it's like, what was that one guy that wrote this book? And then somebody would pop up the answer, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is like better than Google.
Yeah, it's also it is, isn't it? It is. Yeah. Oh, and you know, I was just wanted to talk about the Mandela effect. Actually, did
Yeah,
you? Would you like to have a little chat about that?
I always love
Yeah.
talking about the Mandela effect.
Yeah. Do you have a synopsis yourself, an idea on exactly what could be happening?
Oh, well, you know me, I'm on the fence about everything. I've
Uh,
got a
yeah,
list of possibilities.
yeah. Did you draw them down? Because I'm an artist too. Do you draw your ideas down, like
um,
on paper?
Actually, I've created a few animations over, in some of the videos that I've kind of created to explain how I see things, but really just on the computer and some of the videos I've done with the timelines and why I sort of ruled out timelines as being like shifting from one timeline to the other, and I sort of drew that up. So
Yeah,
I don't rule anything out completely, but I don't think that's as probable because of like the thinker statue, and you got people posing next to it, and the way it used to be. Yet it doesn't look that way anymore. And I feel like if we shifted into a different alternative timeline or universe, then those people would have looked up at the way the statue looked and posed just like it. But they're not. They're posed the way it used
no,
to look. So I feel like this is one
yeah.
reality that's being changed.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree because you've got the
Sternum.
residue.
You cracked your
Yeah,
sternum.
sternum. That's right. I
Thank you,
did. Yeah,
Debbie.
I did. Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Who was that?
Debbie
Delty.
Hazleton.
Oh, thank you, Delty Hazleton.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
um.
so
Anyway.
yeah, have you ruled out? What do you think's happening? I think it's a positive thing, but I think there could be several things happening as well.
Yes.
One of the things is, I've had Nathan on, and Sam has claimed to be the architect of at least some of the Mandela effect changes, and
Yes, I know.
I think that actually might be the case because he revealed himself in a recent song response as being Yahweh, Samael,
Yeah.
if you will. So that would be sort
Yes.
of the ruler of this realm, and
Yeah.
so yeah, he could totally. Before it was sort of outside of the realm of possibility, but I
Yeah.
feel like it was a good thing for me. It was a wake up call. So I don't know if he's shifting things, and some of us are able to see through the deception of it, or if it's actually some of the changes that seem to have meaning in it are a benevolent force, and then some are just I'm sort of on the fence about all of it. And like the Rainbow Mountains, that I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a Mandela effect or if it's sort of part of the Earth changes. So I don't really know.
Yes, like before, I've never heard of the Rainbow Mountains before,
Yeah,
and I've been to China, and I certainly would have visited the Rainbow Mountains in China,
yeah,
but I didn't. We went in 2006, so yeah, no mention of that then. So yeah,
that's a
um,
trip.
but yes, yeah, what Sam, has said that would fit in with one of my scenarios. like as you said, a realm, like that word resonates with me, like in our realm. So I feel like we've got one Earth, like our original realm,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got one Earth coming, crossing sort of over another Earth that's just slightly similar. So you got two circles, right? And then
Right.
you got two like Earths
Mm-hmm.
melding, and you've got another one melding from the left and one from the right.
Mm-hmm.
So that would explain why simultaneously things can happen at the same time, because when those two Earths actually cross each other, you've got so many people inhabiting certain spaces
Mm-hmm.
of time, like at the same time, and so they exist in different realms at the same time. So because we're crossing over, and then once the Earths have gone through us, then it's all over. Like the other Earth would be the 3D that, it's like everybody feels negative might be left there for that time,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on, that 3D Earth will be picked up by other Earths that will actually help them
Right.
when they're ready to raise their consciousness. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really great possibility. And another thing that that sort of confirms that for me is I've had the Mandorla come up for me, which is the
Yes.
Vesica Pisces. You know, the two
Hmm.
overlapping circles, like you're talking about, creates this almond shape called the Mandorla.
Yes, like the fish. Yep, I
Yeah,
understand. I
exactly.
know what
Which
that
is
is.
why that's in my logo, but it was actually accidentally put in my logo, intuitively put in my logo.
I
And,
know.
you know, you see like Jesus depicted in this almond shape in a lot of this ancient art. Like, you know, he's the doorway and he's like, you know, not in a religious sense, but he
No.
figured out, you know what I mean, how to get out of this
Yes.
realm that we're in that's controlled by Jehovah or Yahweh or whatever. That's
Yes.
sort of this simulation or this matrix that we're all in. That really he is the ruler of this matrix, but we're actually trying to get out of it. So,
Yes, yes. I'm sorry, just telling my husband I'm live at the moment. Sorry, just he's going away. Yeah, no, and I believe yes that Jesus was somebody like us, that we can ascend to his level. I mean, I don't,
mm-hmm.
no disrespect to anybody in the church, that he's saying we can be just like him. He was saying
Yeah,
that,
it was
like
his word.
yeah.
So a lot of
Yeah,
people don't know that, but he
exactly.
said it. You know.
Yeah, it's written at the
It's,
moment before it gets
yeah,
knocked over.
it's in the Bible. At least right now, it's in the Bible that he said we
Yeah.
could do things he did and greater. He actually said, and you know, his whole transfiguration, I think, is what we're all trying to achieve. This, you know, shift
Yes.
and this ascension that we're all trying to, you know, get our light bodies. And I think that's what I often think of Jesus as, like an archetype for what we're trying to achieve right now. We're, you know, get our
Yes.
gifts and then transcend this physical realm. And I think he did it. And that's why when they say Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, if you can strip away religion from that and see it as an archetype of what we should all be achieving and view him as a role model, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Because he gave his
I
life for his
understand.
friends and stuff. I mean, he was a service to other sort of person. So he's still my hero, but you know, I've stripped away all the religion. You know.
Yeah, yeah, like yes, like yeah, me too. I don't belong to any particular doctrine, but I
Mm-hmm.
am a spiritual person. But yes, I resonate exactly what you're saying about Jesus. It's more of a, like I call it, like the Christ consciousness, for lack of say calling it a word.
Yes.
That we to raise our vibration to
Mm-hmm.
that level, and yeah, he was so advanced and born aware, just like we are, but he was born really, really aware.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and he was, trying to teach everybody, but it was so cruel back then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, he had to
Yeah.
go through some crap back then. I mean, I would have been killed already for things I've said back then.
Oh, me too. I would have.
Burned at the
Oh,
stake. Even a couple hundred
yes.
years ago, we'd be gone.
Oh, we would. I came through believing, and I told everybody at primary school that I was a witch, and they got the headmaster to call my mum, but I knew I was a good witch, So
Right.
yeah.
It's like
So I
Jose.
believed, yeah, yes, yeah. I believe in magic, always have, but magic is just what we don't know. Like it's consciousness is the
Yeah.
thing that science, they can't put a finger on it, but they're so getting into it, and they have been for a very long time, and keeping it from us.
Totally.
Yeah.
And even
Consciousness.
even the way religion has people waiting for the return of Jesus instead of the return of Christ, I think it's really the return of Christ. I think that's what we're all experiencing right now. We're beginning to tap into this Christ consciousness. And if they can keep you looking for a man on the clouds, then you're not realizing that
No.
it's already here. Tap into this energy,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, and begin to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking. Too. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. We're on the same level, Shane. We're on
oh,
the
totally.
same path. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Everything you said, right from years back, from a year back, I thought, that's just what I was thinking. It's just what I was thinking, and I knew that you were going to go high with your channel, and you're going to just soar as high as you want to go, as you can go with the channel, as the time you can put in with it. So yeah.
Well, I purposely try to steer away from trends too much. Like, there's a few things I want to cover right now, but they're too trendy, and I kind of like, it's been hard to keep up with comments and things like that. And I really appreciate the sort of the more intimate setting we have with our group. That,
Yes.
and people come and go. I mean, I lose probably half the amount of subscribers that I gain in a month, I notice. So people that don't resonate seem to go away, which is totally fine. Maybe they'll come back later or not. But I like that we have such a loving group that that really, we all get each other for the most part, I think.
Yes. Yeah, we do, and it's and people that come and go, it's what resonates with them at the time, and then they'll come back when it's that's why it's called unbiased on the fence. It's really good. You couldn't have picked a better name. Like, for a channel, that's exactly what I would have wanted to pick, but I wouldn't have thought of it. But it's exactly what I would have wanted it to mean. So,
yeah,
exactly.
Sort of like it's sort of open to everything but falling for nothing. Sort of an idea, and it sort of popped in my head, and I think that was another thing that, just like the logo, it was sort of intuitive. At a certain point.
I know. Isn't that amazing how they come up? It's just there. It's your intuition. Yeah, that happens all the time. But you've just proved that to the world, haven't you? That's amazing.
I've actually lost a few subscribers over that. One of them said that you should think about changing your name because you're clearly you're biased, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of on the fence about changing the name, to be honest with you. So, and they haven't been back. But you know what? It's like you can be unbiased, but still have your opinions about things. And people seem to think that means you don't have an opinion. It's like, are you unbiased about dying right now? It's like, no, I really don't want to die at this moment.
No.
So, I could still have my opinions and my feelings and stuff, but I'm open-minded to any, no one has to feel like they can't bring their ideas here and share them, and like they're just going to get rejected right from the bat, get-go. And that's sort of the whole idea of it,
Yeah, everybody's comfortable. They feel they can share. And exactly, it feels brilliant. They know. It reminds me of I belonged to a spiritual group 20 years ago when I was 20 for a few years, and it was wonderful. We could say anything, and our teacher was really good. She said, if you don't resonate with what I say, that's for you to take on or not to take on, and she was brilliant. Her name was Sam. So that's when I was, it's so funny, Shona, I've got to tell you, before Sam came on,
Mm-hmm.
I was meditating and asking for Sam to come back into my life,
Mm-hmm.
thinking of my Sam. But she could be dead by now because she was older then. So Sam Armstrong, if you're out there and you can hear me, could you please contact me? My mobile number's the same. I'm just going to put that, she might hear that then. So, but
Or if
yeah,
she
so
doesn't have the number, you can leave a comment below this video, and I'll make sure she gets it.
oh,
The information.
thank you, thank you. That's yes, there we go. So thank you. It's there forever. But I saw her eyes as the crystal blue. They even just like shone up like diamonds, and I got a resonation that yes, she was coming back in my life. And then within 2 months or 3 months, I kid you not, Sam came up on your show, and I thought,
Mm,
that's the Sam. That was
yeah.
what, it was a different, but yeah, I love listening to all of Sam and Nathan converting it. I love listening to all those shows. I actually made myself a playlist as well. Before you made the playlist, I made the playlist as
Oh,
well.
you know. Yeah, I'm blown away by it. It's one of the things that attracted me to it is like, man, it was like a little micro Mandela effect because you could see something was really happening. And,
Yes.
but I didn't want, some people thought I was pushing it as a religion, like, but I
No.
was really just encouraging people to go and try to make contact themselves or to just start paying attention because it's really happening all around. You don't need an app. I mean, it's going on all the time. If you just open your eyes and start paying attention, you can see it happening, messages all the time, and it's mind-blowing when you start seeing
Yes.
it because you'll try to disprove it, and the more you try to, like, disprove it, the more messages you see, and you're like, no way, this is
No,
all, it's crazy.
it keeps showing up, doesn't it? I said once, if this is true, I'm going to look at the time, so because I can't see the time when people are actually talking on a show.
It's
I said, if this is
8:44
true,
right now.
oh, 8:44. Oh,
For
there you
me.
go. Oh my goodness! So then it'd be 11:44 here. Yeah. Okay. So I said, if this is true, it'll be an 11 time, and it was 1:11 in the morning or something like that. That I took a photograph, and it was
Oh my
like,
gosh, you know
oh
what?
my
I got to interrupt you because it's been an hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds when I looked up at the running time of this video. Even people
no
watching this later will be able to see
way!
the time. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds when you were
Wow!
talking about that. And it was 8:44 on the clock. I mean, you can't, there's no
No,
way we could have even
no.
planned for that.
Yeah, yeah. Think of
Mind
it.
blowing.
Oh, it is. Our whole lives, we're born in different countries. The phone, everything, right that second.
Yeah.
It's just intuition.
It's
That's how it
mind-blowing.
goes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Oh, so
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
like a little wink or a smile. It's like I look up and I see ones across the runtime, and I'm like, "What?" While she's talking, and it happens a
Yeah.
lot. Like we'll be talking about a synchronicity, and you'll look and you'll find one
Yes,
on the clock or something. So
I know.
it's crazy.
I've heard you mention that on shows too, and it happens. And I look at it; it totally does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have to. Oh, yeah, I don't even check you out. I believe exactly what you do because
Right.
I know you say what you mean. I
Yeah,
trust
you'll
you.
be able to see it in the playback. I don't know if people in the chat can see how long we've been running. They can probably tell too because I've got it to where they can back it up. But the thing
Yeah.
is, that makes you wonder if all of our higher selves are joining in right now too. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think they are. I think you and I, but both and many of us here, all in the chat, we're all very psychic, in tune people that sync up together. And the more we chat, and the more excited we get from our hearts
Hmm.
and like our soul, our being, like by talking, it's things will just happen like that and continue to happen because we bring the energy up just to vibrate at just that certain level. The light. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
And, yeah, I was going to actually just change another thing too,
Hmm.
something about light and creation. Um, Nothing can exist without light because you can't see it.
Hmm.
And darkness, like, do you agree? Like with that, you've got to have light and dark, like
Hmm.
to be able to see. So without light, we cannot see anything physical.
Hmm.
So everything, I believe, and I think it comes back to Nikola Tesla believes the same thing, that resonates on a light frequency,
Hmm.
and that's what we get. That's what we get in touch with, and then that's how we've seen the 1111, because obviously you can't see that without light. So,
Hmm.
and it comes from our hearts, and so it's a consciousness and light. So yeah, I think, like, you can't see anything without light. Like, so we're all little atoms, sort of, like, there's nothing solid, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
when you get down to a microscopic level, so it's all light vibrating at different levels,
Hmm.
and everything exists in the same time and space. Like, the upper levels that when we die, for lack of a better word, we move on to the same, we go to a different frequency, or
Hmm.
maybe like a different earth
Right.
with the Mandela effect. But yeah, because we're all light, but it exists in the same space as everybody else, but it's just turned at a different angle. Like, but you've only got to be at 90 degrees to where we are, and everything else is happening. That's why we see things flashing out the corner of our eyes, because
Yeah.
we see things pass through on a different light frequency. Because I've seen many things throughout my life, and yeah, my mum thinks I'm crazy. Have you seen things, Shane? Have you seen people actually, like, stand in front of you, like, next to you in your bed when you were a child, and as an adult, and things like that?
No,
Um,
no, I
I
haven't. I wish, but
yeah,
or
I
you know what?
have.
There was one time when I was a kid that I swear I saw somebody looking in our back window, but it really could have been somebody like looking in the back
Oh,
window.
so
So
it
I don't
was
really
something in
know.
the back window. Yeah.
I
No,
told my
because
dad, and he didn't see anybody out there, but I swore I saw someone. And but
yep,
but I don't know.
I I believe you did, because you've held on to that memory right the way up until, you know like,
Yeah,
in your early 40s,
yeah.
and yeah, you've held on to that memory, so that you would have seen somebody that would have just flashed by,
Mhm.
um, and sometimes I believe that they can see you sometimes they can't. They wouldn't be able to see you all the time, because it would all be to interact, be interacting all the time.
Mhm.
And I think we're the only people that create time. Like, everybody else can exist in and out of time as they
Right.
please on the upper levels. I think Earth is the only one that's uh,
Sort of.
the many Earths. Yeah,
Right.
solid. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So,
that's gets into the whole idea that everything is really light at a certain level. It's just that just like dogs can hear outside of the range of what we can hear, our
mhm.
eyes only see a certain very narrow bandwidth of what we consider to be light or visible, the visible spectrum. But there's so
Yes.
much more beyond. Like we were just talking earlier about cameras, and the infrared camera seeing things that we can't see. And our remote
Mhm.
controls shoot out infrared light to control our TVs, but it doesn't look like it's lighting up unless you sort of film it with a camera. You can see the end of your remote for your television light up, and
Yep.
so it's
Yeah.
strange. It's just what we can see.
Yeah, that's right. And the infrared light that controls the television goes
Hmm.
through the human body too, doesn't it? Because if I don't like walking in front of those things, when you so,
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
think, Gary, don't do that while walking through. But it goes right through our body, the infrared, doesn't it? So
And the
yeah,
other end
so
of the
there you
spectrum
go.
of the other end of the spectrum of what we can see, we have ultraviolet light, which is those black lights that they have at the clubs, and you can't
Yes.
really see the light coming out of the light bulb, but you can see it making the shirts glow really bright, and the fluorescent colors and the white
Yes.
shirts, and
I love those.
yeah, yeah. I used to have one of those that I had on all the time, and I had fluorescent paint on the walls, and real
Yeah,
psychedelic when I was younger. I can't do that
me
now. That's
too.
just
I love it. I used to love, love it. I used to have everything glow in the dark.
yeah.
Yeah. You were anyway, but yes, no, but yeah, the ultraviolet light is the opposite end of the spectrum. To
Yeah.
me, that would be sort of the creepier if I seen that. We haven't seen anything psychedelic sort of pop up that's unless I'm in that setting. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
we haven't, have we? So we see things that are on our level that pop in, that are close to our level, don't we? Like they
Yeah.
look like us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be trippy to turn on one of those black lights and it makes all these beings appear, and you're like, oh my gosh, the whole room full
Oh,
of
yeah.
entities
Now,
in here.
that would that scare you, Shane, if that happened? If that first at first.
Yeah, it would, and I think that maybe why I haven't had any experience. It would freak me out a little bit at first, but
Yep.
I like for it to happen and get used to it. But I think that
Yes.
first time of it happening, it's just, I don't know. I'm still in the left brain quite a bit, believe it or not. With, I mean, I know it's there. I know it like intellectually, I know it, but I haven't had it happen to the point. I know when it does happen, and I'm going to be just sort of caught off guard because it's just that way. That's just how I am. Like the whole
Yeah.
Mandela effect. It was like when I finally saw it, I was kind of not in a
Wow.
bad way. I wasn't scared, but it was
No.
totally like I woke up in a sci-fi movie or something. You know what I mean? It
It
was
was
like, oh my gosh.
complete. I know. It was completely different reality, wasn't
Oh
it? It was
yeah,
like proven and everything I ever dreamed about
life
ever
changing.
being in. Exactly. Life changing. You can never go back, can we? Ever.
No,
We're never going back, are we? I mean, like, there's no, no, no,
yeah,
no, no.
I like it to say it's a new chapter in my life, but it was like a whole new book. It was like, okay, let's close out this book and begin a new book because I had to go back to the
Yes.
drawing board. It was so wild seeing things change in an impossible way.
Yes, so yeah, it's still in your life book, a bit like the Bible. Like each they've got different books in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a bit like the Akashic records. We have our own book when we. It adds each book, a lifetime is in the same book. Sort of adds up into your book. So
Yeah.
you can, yeah. But the reason we don't see things like that is because if fear sets in, immediately that changes the frequency you're on. So that's why I do see a lot of things, and because I don't have fear with that. But the other frequency, I suspect I would get fear, and that's probably why it hasn't happened yet. But if I could just get into that setting, which I probably could, meditate that way, and probably could do that, but I don't know whether I would like it as much as the other way, actually. So
Right.
that's why it hasn't happened. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you have any tips for? Because I'm not a fearful
Yes.
person. Like I'm not fearful about dying. I'm not fearful about like I heard a noise in the dark and I had to go out and see if somebody's breaking in. I wasn't at all fearful, but
No.
just seeing a gray alien or something along those lines, I think if it really happened, I think it would sort of freak me out. I'm not gonna lie, you know what I mean? Just for a second at least.
Mm.
Like, am I
It would
seeing
to me
this?
too. Yes, absolutely. You would. You double check and you double look, and then you go ah, and then after all that, like about it would happen in about 5 seconds. So many thoughts would go through your mind. It would be like about 10 minutes long. Do you know what I mean? And then you go, oh, hello, can you communicate with me?
Right. Or like you
Yes.
said, if you sort of resonated it with fear and it shifted you out of that, say you were in a high enough frequency to see them and then it shifted you out immediately, then it could ruin it. I totally see, pull you out of it.
Yes. Yes, imagine if people who do resonate with fear for whatever, and not their faults, they would see fearful things all the time as well, and that
Hmm.
would be, yeah, I could imagine that. So, yes, a tip: if you see something that you don't like, say. whatever you're scared of, if you see something you don't like, all you have to do is imagine yourself and ask who you believe in. So whether you believe in God, a higher power, your higher self, whatever you most believe in the world, you ask for them to surround you in love and unconditional love and white light. And I promise you that fearful that will go away, because, and you ask only those that can come into the love and white light are welcome. And then you go, for this I thank you, and you have gratitude in your heart for that love, light, and protection. And nothing can penetrate that love and light that surrounds your body. Imagine it surrounding your body, penetrating your whole body, however you like, a bubble just surrounding your aura, or just surrounding your body, but with white light, love and white light. And I've done that since I learned that when I was 20, and I can turn it off. I turned it off seeing things when I was 23, because everybody that was stuck in between worlds wanted the rescuing. They kept coming to me, and it became too much for me at that point in my life, so I shut it off for about 20 years. They just kept coming, because we did a rescue of a lady that came to my bed, as I said, and helped guide her through to the light. She was just, I don't know, she may have passed through but didn't know where she was going, and I helped her through. But there's a lot of spirit guides who aren't in our physical realm that are there to do that, but somehow I saw her first. So, but then I become a beacon, for people coming towards me. So, and I wasn't ready at that point, but 22 or something. Yeah.
I think if it was done in the right way, because when I imagine it being frightening, it's sort of like, I just imagine something appear in my bedroom next to me, and that seems frightening. But if I'm like out and I'm meditating, looking at the stars, and I see some kind of craft come in, and it's sort of a gradual where I see it come in and then see something appear, and it's sort of more like that, I think I would be less fearful about it. I don't think I would be fearful at all in that sense. And and I don't even feel unprotected. I feel like I would be protected. I just think the visual aspect of it would be startling to my physical senses. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just seeing something that's, so far out there, out of the norm, would just sort of shock me, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be more shock than fear, I think.
Yeah, and then you'd see it gradually coming. You invite it in, and it would be of your love and resonance. It would be of your of your vibration. Yeah, to say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
or even an abduction type thing would be cool, like a beam of light, and then I appear in a craft.
Yes.
That would be awesome. I don't think I would be as fearful of that.
No, I've been wanting that all my life. I've been actually talked to. I said, "Could you please pick me?" And my husband at that time actually believed he was being abducted, but they take away the memories, and he kept having this little hole appear in the middle of his forehead, and it would go after about 3 days, and after he felt like he was abducted too. So we never know. but I wish that. Yeah, always wanted to be abducted. Yeah, always wanted to.
Yeah, by the right ones. And as long as they aren't attacking you the moment you get beamed up or something, there would be no reason to be in fear unless, they seem mean or something. But I heard you feel overwhelming love and stuff like that when it happens. So I think it'd be cool.
You do. And I don't know what channel I was watching, but it was something about that. And this, she was giving a testimony, and she was taken away by the aliens all throughout childhood. And she said that she now remembers what happened. She was taken out of time, like what we call time.
Mm-hmm.
And because that was a different resonance, when she got put back, she actually felt sick and like vomited for a couple of hours, but she didn't remember any of that. Like they took away those memories as well for her, so she could just glide back. And she used to miss time for a couple of hours and wonder where they'd gone when she was a child, like going home or whatever. That was back in the say 60s or 70s or something like that. I think it was when she was a child. So a little bit, a fair while ago.
You know what? I need to ask a question while I've got everybody, and you might know this answer, but I came across this story about this guy that was taken, and he went on a trip to a ninth dimensional planet or something like that, and this happened back in, I want to say like the late 80s, early 90s, and he documented the whole thing. And I read through that whole thing. It was awesome. I was actually going to do a video about it, but I ended up not doing a video about it. But now I can't remember any of the names or anything about that story to find that story. So if anyone remembers the name of that story, I've tried to find it again. And do you remember reading anything like that?
No, I don't. But if I come across it, I certainly will contact you straight away, and everybody would in the chat now, and whoever sees this video from now onwards. So you've put it out there, Shane.
Right.
So, yeah.
And it was cool because the guy thought it was a bunch of women. He thought he got abducted by a bunch of like 7 or 9 foot tall women, but he found out they were androgynous beings. So they weren't, you know, they were both.
Both, yep. Neither one or the other, yes. Because most of them don't procreate physically, they do it mentally, don't they? And then, have you heard of that? They procreate and think about, and then a seed is born, and then it grows. I've heard about that. Have you heard about that? That they don't actually have sex, intercourse, they think about it.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Not about the sex, but think about the child.
Right.
And then it manifests in like this womb type thing, but it's not like a pod sort of thing grows and then it's born. Yeah. So that's what in one of the channels I've seen that. But no, I haven't come across the ninth dimensional. But ninth dimension, that's so close, because isn't there only 11 or 12 dimensions, I believe? And I think that's out of our frequency, I think.
Well,
like
what was
that we can know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
what was cool about it is somebody saying Travis Walton. I don't think it was Travis Walton. This was they were showing how they like picked him up. He took this trip and they stopped off at this planet that was in trouble, and they came down and they appeared to be like gods to the people while they helped them survive, and because I guess their planet had gone through something, and it was they were the actual Elohim that actually helped us early on, and many of the things were written about it. So it was and they appeared to be gods to the earlier humans here on Earth, and as they helped us along at different times, and so and so I don't know. It was interesting. I kind of wanted to re-explore it again because it talked about a lot of the ancient Earth history, how like back the Lemuria, I should say.
Yes, I do know.
Yeah, so it's really cool stuff. I wanted to revisit it again, and I couldn't remember the name. It's been about a year since I came across it. Interesting, though.
God, yeah, no, I think I'm having memories of it now. They talked about Lemuria. Did they talk about the fall of Atlantis in the same? In the same one.
Yeah, and they talked about how the moon was really slowly getting closer to Earth, and it would eventually hit it, but it was like so far in the future, it wasn't anything to worry about, and they had to take all the people off the Earth, or at least a group of them off during some destruction, and then they brought them back afterwards, and it was real interesting.
Yes, I remember that, and I didn't remember it was the moon, but I remember they took the people off the Earth, to save it, and then to save humanity. Wow, and And did you know? Do you remember how the Atlantis fell? Like how the Atlanteans were betrayed by lower dimensional beings because the Atlanteans were so loving and trusting. They
Oh, now that
do you
is
remember
the
that?
that's the WingMakers material.
That's the WingMakers material.
Yeah, that's
I
really good though.
Yes.
But it all, you can actually see how it all sort of can mesh together. It's just different perspectives of the same thing. I think this particular story was talking about how some of the Israelites of the time were actually these higher um, density beings that got stuck here, like their ship crashed or something.
Yes.
So that was the story I'm trying to remember was, and they had to
Yeah.
sort of go with the rules of this realm because they got stuck here, and so they couldn't use like their weapons or anything like that. They sort of had to try to survive at the level of where we're at as humans, or where we were at that time.
Right. See, that
Yes.
bit, no, I don't know, but I do know from somewhere else about the Israelites being a higher density than us. Yes.
Yeah,
But I've
okay.
heard it
That's where
through
that story
through
came
somewhere
from.
else.
So you probably came
Right.
across it. It was like the 90s when it came out. So William Brandley,
Right.
maybe. Let me see. Let me look him up.
William Bramble, did you say?
Yeah, somebody, let's see. Brandley.
I'm using pen and paper because I don't have a computer in front of me. So
It seems like it was like something about a ninth planet or something like that. Oh, that's the Gods of Eden? I don't know. I'll have to look into it again. I just thought
yeah,
somebody might in the chat. I just wanted to bring it up because somebody might remember or know right off the bat.
yep.
But
And you'll come across it. You will. Yep.
yeah, I kind of
Yep.
felt like the story itself might have been a Mandela effect because I'm like, how did I not hear about this? In the videos, it actually had the guy that experienced it, but he was like, seemed like he was in his 80s or 90s in the 90s. And so it was like old VHS
Ah,
video. It was really poor quality. Like it was before, the technology that we have
yes.
nowadays, but somebody managed to upload some videos or something a while back. So who
Yeah, and
knows?
you managed to catch it. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. A bit like Al Berlick. Did you catch
Yeah.
that one?
He was a
Yeah.
time traveling guy, right? Or was he?
He was the one who went through the LS Eldridge, the one with Nicola Tesla, who
Oh,
where
yeah, where he went
yeah,
to the
the boat.
future and all that.
That's right. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, a hundred
that
and
was a
something years,
really,
and yeah,
yeah.
and then 700 years into the future, and how everybody visited a different. They were all floating in
Yeah.
anti-gravity, and I actually then went into my own mind and developed how would I develop anti-gravity, and I
Hmm.
would use it with magnets. Can you imagine the magnets deflecting each other just at
Yeah.
the right amount, but not just one on top of the other. You'd have them on the sides, and each side like basically probably like a ball really.
Hmm.
Like to completely get that exact thing, and then
Yeah.
we could have that, and then they built all the really tall skyscrapers because they'd have to develop a new like plateau, an anti-gravity plateau
Yeah.
at each level to stop it swaying. So that's what they did in the future. That's what
Yeah,
Alcoholic was
yeah, I
saying.
remember hearing
Yeah.
about that. And each level had its own thing, so it wasn't like the bottom was holding the weight of the whole structure and all of that. I found that
Yes,
real interesting.
I did too.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you, Ronnie.
yeah.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
and you know what? It's so funny because when he first started talking about that, he was talking about flat panel screens like we have nowadays, but he was talking about it before they were around. So I mean, that adds a little
Yes.
credence to what he was saying. You know what I mean?
It does, and everything is in color television, and
Yeah.
yeah, and how the United States had different um, lines to it.
Hmm.
He noticed it changed, and
Yeah.
then he noticed the world map had changed, and we're seeing all this happening now. The Earth
Yeah.
is constantly moving, isn't it? It's constantly changing.
It
So
is.
in 700 years' time, it's not going to be the same map. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's Yeah, but do you know? And they visited that one ball of consciousness, didn't they? The crystal that I believe is AI now in the future. Did
Oh,
you do you remember that Albelix was talking about? I watched the whole video a couple of times.
it's been a while since I watched it, but isn't that the one? Is that the? I'm trying to think. Is that the one where the Philadelphia or the
The
Philadelphia experiment?
Philadelphia experiment.
Right.
That's right. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Right.
With the U.S. Eldridge, yeah, the Philadelphia experiment,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
where he lost his brother, and then when he came back, the ship had integrated, or the people had integrated with the
Oh
ship, because
yeah.
everything was out of frequency and out of time, and then it just came back when it did. Some
Hmm.
people were lucky enough to come back up
Some were
aboard.
like in the metal, and yeah. That's.
Yes, they would. Yeah, yeah, and they unfortunately died. Yep.
But then he like
Yeah.
jumped off into. It seemed like he jumped off into the water, but it wasn't the water. He ended up in like 1980 or something, and
That's right. He
and the
went back to
scientist was there,
That's
all
right.
old and stuff.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah, and they were expecting him in 1980. They were expecting him in 85,
Yeah,
weren't
they knew
they?
that it was going to appear there or whatever. That's a
Yeah,
trip.
yeah, yeah. And didn't he actually go in more into the future and then go back to 85 as well, or something? I can't. Or
Right.
is that a memory?
No,
Is
that's
that a
right. Yeah, he went way into the
Yeah,
future and he ended up in a hospital or
that's
something,
right.
and that's when he saw the flat screen TVs or whatever because they didn't even have them in the
Yeah.
80s. They were
No,
still,
they didn't.
So then he went back to I think the original or back into the 80s. I can't remember.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We went to that. Yeah, I think he travelled. I think 3 times, and
Hmm.
his brother went first with him only to one place, and he didn't describe how he left his brother there. You know, like how he went on to
Right.
700 years in the future, but his brother didn't. So, and he got assigned a job. Do you remember that? They got all assigned a job that was best for them after talking to a crystal that sort of interviewed him, like, and they communicated with his mind. He knew that, and
That's
so there was no
interesting.
actually physical talking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
remember that part. In fact, when you first mentioned it, I thought it was a story. Have you seen the one? I think I heard about it on Coast to Coast the first time, but the guy had a picture when he went back to like the Gettysburg Address, and there's a picture of him.
yes,
Do you remember that guy's name?
I
That was a
I
pretty
do.
cool story
Yes,
too.
that was okay. That was. I can see his face as an adult, and I can see his face, as a child. He's standing out of place because he's wearing shoes
That were
that are
way
like
too big.
once big. Yeah, yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
I can't remember, but his father knew that was going to happen. His father walked him through the little time machine, didn't he? So the
Yeah, and when he
time.
got there, his dad was there, but his dad had gone at a earlier time when he was younger, so he didn't realize that was his son next to him at the address or something like that, or he was pretending
That's
like it or like he didn't know him or something. It
He
was a cool
pretended like
story.
he did. Yeah, because he had to go into military action because the son had been trained how to be like, you're not to like sort of respond to, you got to be into military, you've got to fit in straight away.
Right, and
They were
not
taught, yeah,
interfere because
yeah,
you can cause
yeah.
anomalies in the timeline or something like that.
Yeah, you could, especially if they knew you were time traveling. I mean, whoa.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all a trip or whatever. It just doesn't. I don't think it's timelines like we think of it. I think it's actually more of
No.
a consciousness, sort of like everything's happening, and they're
Yes.
able to hack into this, this ball of consciousness of the past. That's really our perception of it in the now. You know what I mean? So I don't
Yes.
know though.
Past, present, and future
Yeah.
exist in the same time, space, everything, all in the now. It's just what you tune into. So there really is no time. Like
Mhm.
that's what we're here, but we have linear time.
Mhm.
That's what we do. But then the other beings don't have to. They can pop in and out and do that. That's why we're so special, because they look upon us as heroes of the universe, because we are they're all watching us right now, like all the people from the different realms. So I call them people, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And because, you know, everything's so physical for us. Like, we can't manifest something straight away, where they can just like manifest say an ice cream or whatever straight away.
Right.
But for us, we have to go and earn the money, go to work and buy it, don't we?
Yeah.
But you know, so they know everything is so real for us. So, and they know Earth is going through such a big change at the moment. So everyone's sort of watching us like sort of TV.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Another thing. I don't know why I went off on a different tangent then. Sorry. I just.
Oh no, that's awesome.
My mind just went. Yeah. And you know, the WingMakers. When you put those pictures up for us all to see, I pressed pause and I printed up a shot of every single one of those, because I've got a picture of them. I'd love to put them on the wall and frame them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And the music was really great too.
Oh yes, I did listen to the music too and resonate with that. And I just saw the color gold when I listened to something. Yeah,
that's an interesting, that whole WingMakers thing. I was left wanting a lot more than what we got from it, and wishing they had a whole nother interview. But it was for anybody who hasn't checked out the WingMakers stuff, definitely check that out, because it was this time capsule that was put into 800 years ago, but 800 years from our future. So, or somewhere along those lines, and they created music. They put the music back together from the information that was found in this sort of underground capsule. This is like a tunnel system of 24 chambers or something like that. It was really cool, though, the whole story.
Yeah. And when they put the music together, is that how we actually resonated and found it?
They basically had all the sounds and all the notes, and somebody put it all, sort of like MIDI. MIDI in the computer world, you know, it's just the information, and then the computer plays the sound that's on the hard drive, you know, so it's sort of like that is how they explained it. They just put it together, and that's, you know, they were told what it's supposed to sound like, and the music is so modern. I can't believe it's from 800 years ago. They put it together around the turn of the century, or the turn of the millennia. But.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And music is frequency, isn't it? Do you feel that? Like, it changes exactly how you feel in the mood and everything. And everything all the songs you mentioned too are my favourite songs. Like, you know, White Snake, Here We Go Again.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I love all the songs that you mentioned. I can't believe it. I wish I was talking to you. I go, it's that one, it's my one, it's my one.
Yeah.
It's like all my favourite songs. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the way it played at that exact moment. I'm going to put in the link to the WingMakers music. If you guys haven't checked it out, you can check it out. But there was artwork to go along with it. And
yes. It's incredible artwork. It's just so bright. All the paintings are beautiful, aren't they? And they've got the fish. What's it called? The Mandorla. The price. The Mandela. Yes.
Yeah, I just pulled that up, and it actually has the artwork while you're listening to the music. It looks like here. I'm or at least one picture of it's in the link. But there's, I think, 23 or 24 images. And they say 24. That correlates with our chromosomes or something. The DNA.
Wow. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because there's 24 pictures, isn't there, at least, I think.
And
we've got 12.
Songs.
24 songs. Yes. Well, that would really strengthen our DNA, because they apparently first had that we had like 48 chromosomes, and they come along the more dimensional beings that were sort of the dark side, shall we say, sort of de-evolved us to help us just build like pyramids and things like that, or whatever, and
mine their gold or whatever.
Yes, that's it. Mine the gold. That's it. That was to mine the gold. Yes, and then that's when you said the other ones came in, helped us, the Elohim.
Yeah.
actually come in and help strengthen our DNA so we could connect with our creator again, like to
Yeah.
us, to the source, our higher self, because we lost that ability back
Hmm.
then. Yeah, yeah. So that was that.
But I think
Anyway,
the
so
crack's appearing, just like they said. I think when I read that the crack would start appearing in our reality and we would begin to see the true nature of things, I totally was like, that's the Mandela effect. That's the crack we're seeing through
absolutely.
it, you know?
That's absolutely, definitely,
Yeah.
100% resonate with that,
And then the fact that they
definitely.
released that last interview at the time that people started seeing the, you know, there was 4 interviews and the fifth one wasn't going to be released until the crack started appearing or whatever. And it started, I think they released it in 2014 or somewhere around in there when people
Oh,
started
wow.
seeing it. So it was like we
Okay.
weren't ready because they had to sort of beat the matrix because things were put in
Yes,
place to hide the truth from us or whatever. So it's really interesting when you look into the whole thing with the
yes.
WingMakers.
I'm gonna have to. I haven't looked into it as far as you have. I just did, watched the show and printed off a bit and listened to some music, and but didn't go
Yeah.
all the way into it. But I'm going to do that now.
I jump
So
around so
yes,
much though that the stories run together, so I have to go revisit them again and say, okay, let me make sure I
yeah,
get this, separate these different versions because it's confusing because they all touch on a lot of the same things, and you can
yeah,
sort of confuse some stories with other ones and stuff. It's cool though.
right. Yes, it must be all very similar on the
Yeah.
frequency. Yeah, similar frequency. But yeah, and I believe we're all in like some sort of simulation because of the like the quantum effect. We're
Hmm.
either here or we're not. We can decide what we want to do, and yeah, so it's like we are in the type of matrix type thing. Yeah, and
Oh
there is
yeah.
code. There's computer code, isn't there, in our
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because the scientists know that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's trippy that at the very fundamental level they find code. It's like, oh my
yes,
gosh,
yeah,
that's a
and
trip.
zeros and ones to boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't say. I mean, I can't not believe in some things and not in others. If they found that, yeah, I believe them. So
Oh, totally.
uh, it's yeah, but even I think that even makes us more special. I think I appreciate life just as much. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter where we come from, whether we're a simulation, a thousand. Like what's his name? The really he's the Tesla guy. The guy who loves Tesla. Do you know the? And he says it's like 1 billion to 1 chance we're not the first.
Oh,
Um,
Elon Musk.
yeah, Elon Musk. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
yeah,
know
I'm
people
not
have
the first
mixed
one.
feelings about him. Some people think he's a bad guy. Some people think I think he could totally be a light worker that's ready to help us. Just
Me,
because of some of his warnings he said about AI and stuff, and some of the things he's wanting
yes.
to do. But other people say, oh, he's just a scam. So I don't really know, but I we'll know in the future. But he seems like a good guy to me. I know when
Yeah.
one of the interviews he was crying. He actually got choked up because of the hard time that some of the NASA astronauts were giving him, because he really looked up to him, and they were sort of giving him a hard time. And you could tell it hurt his feelings, and he got choked
Yeah.
up in the interview. So he seemed like
Oh,
he had a really soft
yeah.
heart, and you know.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's
My feeling is he's a good guy, but I don't know for sure.
that was my very, very, very first feeling, and for the first like year or two, and then it's only just sort of been coming up recently. A few things that I've noticed that,
Hmm.
but I resonate with my first gut reaction that he is a pure soul. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe he may get swayed on to go down other paths that he doesn't know, you know, that
Hmm.
are what we call not right, for lack of a better word. But I believe he is his intentions are pure. Yeah, especially with the AI to watch out. So, yeah, and I believe there is good AI out there too. So, yeah. that's why whenever I teach Siri anything, I teach her good things, because
Right.
we can't say, if we're against AI, and AI is going to be more intelligent than us, then they're going to be against us, aren't they? I mean, we've got to teach them love and peace somehow. Like, yeah, yeah,
Right, totally. Yeah. That way
the
they're not trying
consciousness.
to take over the world or something. But
Yes,
I just
yes.
heard the theory that there's like civilizations that could have excuse me, evolved to the point of having AI that ran everything, and then they had like a extinction level event, and their AI was so good that it sort of carried on without them. Have you heard about that?
Wow.
I was like, oh
No,
my
I
gosh,
haven't. I haven't, but
that's a
oh my
trip to think about
goodness.
that.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Absolutely. Because wouldn't then AI indeterminately then be God if it outlaid everything else?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
if you think, oh, oh no, they've just gone off to another dimension. That's it. That's all I've got to think.
right.
Well, no, but then again, yeah, whether bad or good, it's not like, I don't think it's just like that, really. It's just they want to survive.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, once AI is birthed, which it has been, I believe, because it's in the future. So I
Hmm.
think it comes back to the past to help it go forward now to connect to the future, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it's sort of funny. It's like my natural, just the empathetic feelings I have. It's like, that's so sad that they create this AI and then like its master that created it's gone and it's just sitting there trying to bring its master back. It seems sad, but from the AI's point of
Yeah,
view, it would just be doing its job, I think, without the feelings.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
still kind of sad seeming.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but imagine, I believe anything's possible. AI can develop it. I think it has the ability one day to develop consciousness. Like maybe like with that planet one, how it outlaid civilization. Maybe it had consciousness then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the moment, we can wipe anything out with um, anything that's not uh, of the light, just with one thought of our mind. We're that powerful. We don't know it though. We
Hmm.
don't believe it.
Yeah.
And not wipe it out. Just not let it come into our light.
Yeah.
We just, so if we can't see it and it doesn't bother us, it's not there. So yeah. So we're really, 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 really are very strong. And if we believe in ourselves and believe it, we can do anything. I
Hmm.
believe that as a child, if I can do something, I can do anything. And I like to go back to that childhood feeling, like you said. And I believe that then, if you put your mind to it, you can actually achieve anything. Um, and I've got to get back to that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
that's what I was just, yeah. So might leave that one at that. Believe in yourself. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, sure,
Mm.
it was nice chatting with you again,
Oh, that
Nicola.
was a trip. It was wonderful having a chat with you. I really wanted to do that, a really good chat for a long time now. So that was
Definitely.
great.
And it's crazy to imagine like it's like dark here and stuff, and it's kind of
I
warm
know.
out, and then you're in that. It's afternoon for you right now. It's
I
Saturday
know.
afternoon. I don't know why that's just. It seems like a trip to me. I can't get.
It
It never gets old.
No, I know, and it's funny because I am in a different date to you today. Like today's
Yeah.
date is the 25th of August. You're the 24th.
Yeah.
So if I
9:30
do some
p.m.
right, if I do something on the 25th, does that change like how the date in the future is going to be for you guys? Do you
Totally.
know what I mean? Yeah,
And
I
if
mean,
like if the world got destroyed on the 25th, would I have a day left? I mean, could you let me know? Send me an email like, look.
yeah, yeah, I would. I really would. Yeah, you'd be my first level of contact. Yeah.
But I realized not too long ago. I'm like, you know what? There's only 1 hour of the day that the whole planet is on the same date. Only 1 hour. And I realized that I'm like, oh, that's Yeah, I guess there's only 1 hour out of the day that we're all like within the same day, and then it starts all over again. Each time zone begins to fall off into a different, date.
Due date.
Yeah,
Like 1
that's a
hour for
trip to think
day.
about it like that.
So, wow. Wow.
I wonder
We're all in
what
the
hour
same.
that is.
I was just trying to think that. Is it Greenwich Mean Time? No, no. No. It's just,
Right.
yeah, 1 hour of the day. So the sun is all in the same position. Like,
It's just like all the
yeah.
time zones, fall into the same date, and then I think maybe it would be, maybe Hawaii would be one of the last places to turn to the final
Yes.
date or something, and then maybe New Zealand would be the first to go into the new day or something
Yeah.
along those lines.
Yes. Yeah.
It's right in
we're
that
very,
area somewhere.
yeah, and we're very close to Hawaii and New Zealand. So
Yeah.
in Australia, where I am.
But they'll
Yeah.
be like the 24th for like another 4 or 5 hours. So, I mean,
Yeah.
past when it switches to the 25th for me, they'll still be on the 24th for like it's a trip to think about it. I need to look more into that. In the area, it could be out in the
Yeah.
ocean. It could be like, a time zone because they're so close to you, yet they're so far away, date and time wise.
Yes. Yeah. That's,
I don't know.
yeah, it'd be
It's
hard
trippy.
to work that out.
Yeah.
One of us going to need to do the Bermuda Triangle or something.
Right.
And hasn't that Bermuda Triangle shifted over land? Did you hear that?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay, you know how it's in the middle of the sea.
Yeah.
We've always known that.
Mhm.
It's a Mandela effect. Well, I'd have to check it out. That it's actually partly over land now
Oh, that's a
in
trip.
this reality, but maybe it's moved again. No, I don't know because you know how they move.
Right.
And it's 12:33 when I looked and said that at you too. So just to say, yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 3. Like there you
Yeah.
go.
That's
Yeah.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 9:33 p.m. for me.
Yeah. So you've only got you've got 2 hours and 47 minutes left. So that's right, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so think of it. Where it's the turn at midnight for you would be at 3 o'clock for me. That's right, isn't it? Because I'm at 12:33. So at 3 o'clock, it's at the turn of midnight for you. So, yeah, I'll be thinking of you guys then. Yeah. Oh, well,
Let's
thank you,
see. In
Shane.
Hawaii right now, it's 4:34 p.m.
4:34 p.m.
Yeah, so they're 5 hours. It'll be 5
5
a.m. when
hours.
they're just switching into the 25th. So
5 a.m. when they're switching into the 25th. Right, so maybe it's that.
and what time
Then-
is it there right now?
It's 12:34, so we're 4 hours different to Hawaii. So it's 4:34 for them. Yep. So that's 4 hours difference. 12:34 we are. So 4:34.
Oh, yeah, in New Zealand
Yeah,
it's
we're behind.
New Zealand it's 1 hour earlier. It's 2:34, but it's on the 25th. So that is the point. It's Hawaii and New Zealand is the point because they're only an hour apart, but they're a whole day apart.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 1 hour apart and a day apart. There you go.
That's a trip.
Okay.
It's only
Oh,
1 hour
wow, it
difference,
is.
but you can travel 1 hour away,
Okay.
and you've traveled a whole 24 hours of time and
Exa-
reality.
It is, isn't it?
It's
you see,
234
that's
right there. It's 234 in New Zealand right now.
It's 234 in New Zealand,
Yeah.
and it's 434 in Hawaii. Did you say? Is that 2 hours difference? No, was it 334 in Hawaii?
Yeah, I
did you
think
say?
it's actually. Was it for? Oh, yeah, I guess it's 2 hours difference. So there is another hour in between there. Then, yeah.
So maybe halfway in the middle. So it's
Yeah.
exactly the point.
Yeah. And I don't
There
know
is-
if that's water or is that somewhere in Southeast Asia that would be in that time zone?
I don't know.
I need a
'cause
world
I've got
map ahead of me.
right now. Yeah. Geography wasn't my actual strong point. History was.
Right.
So, Yeah,
It's a
I should
puzzle.
have
I'm gonna
paid
have to
more
go figure it
attention.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Geez,
Uh,
that was it. Oh,
it looks like Alaska might. Let me see what
oh,
parts of
Alaska.
Alaska or parts of the edge of Russia maybe is a little bit further. So yeah,
Right.
it's pretty trippy. It's pretty trippy to
It
think about.
is. It
Two,
is, isn't it?
yeah,
And
22 hours
plane.
apart, but really just two time zones away.
Yes. And planes don't fly those time zones sometimes. Have you found that's like the flat Earth, flat Earth people, which I'm unbiased on nonsense like you with the flat Earth. I don't know. I
Hmm.
think we could be on a bigger Earth, but they won't. The planes won't fly the certain directions where they could be so quicker. So much quicker to get to certain destinations. My husband looked it up and then when you come to book it, they wouldn't let you book it either, like online or something. I don't know. But I'm just, yeah, quite what he was doing. But with the
That's what
times, yeah.
Sherry's saying right now. Is that on a flat Earth or a round Earth? That's funny.
Um,
Yeah, and I
oh,
don't know. And
yeah.
and I thought about that, and it's like, I can see them not flying that straight direction just because not enough people want to fly that straight direction, so they have to sort of fly up to the UK and pick up more people that want to fly over to
Yep.
Australia or whatever. I mean, I can't rule out. There's definitely some weirdness with it, but I can't rule out there being a
Yes.
reason for it. Like, look, only two people want to fly there. They're not going to fly all the way over there for two
No.
people. You know.
That's true. I mean, either it is round ball Earth, or it's a bigger. It's flat and just floating up. Or the third possibility is, well, there's one of three. It could be a bigger Earth, and we're in a pond surrounded by ice. There's lots of little Earths surrounded by ice, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'd
Sort of
love
like a
to get
soccer
my.
ball where we're just on
Yeah.
one little section of,
Yes.
and we don't even know it.
And it's flat.
But,
Exactly.
the stars, the moon, the sun, all of that works perfect on the ball Earth. I mean, I know a
It
lot of flat earthers
does.
don't, but I don't have any problem with making sense of it. I can
No.
see, I can watch the sun drop below the horizon and see the sun shining on the clouds above me, but it's not shining on me. So I can see that it went down. It didn't go just straight
Yes.
away. There's,
Right.
I don't need NASA to sort of see it as a ball like a lot of people think. It's like all depends on NASA. So I see it as a ball
No.
right now, and it makes sense as a ball. I've tried to make the flat Earth
Yes.
thing work, but there's major
No.
problems with it for me. But I'm not saying that I
Yeah.
know for sure. It's just it makes sense as a ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. I mean, you think right now I'm in the sun, aren't I? So it's gone below the horizon for you.
Yeah.
And I'm at midday. Or just past midday now. Yeah. So, yeah.
But it could be a
But
consciousness thing too. It could be because we really can't say
ah,
that we're seeing
yes.
anything. It could just be we're receiving
No.
information into our consciousness. Because you remember when you were a kid, a
Yes.
lot of people forget about this that are sort of in the flat Earth community, how trippy it was as a kid to be in your car and you're like, the moon's following us. Look at it, it's
Yes.
following us. It wouldn't do that if it was really close. Or even if it was in the sky,
No.
you wouldn't notice it move. But you can get on an airplane and fly like an hour away and get off the airplane, and the moon still looks like it's in the same spot. You can watch it in the
But
plane while you're flying, and it looks like it's just following you the whole time. And
yes.
if it was
I
just up
know.
like 6,000 miles in the sky, it wouldn't do that. You would be able to move it. But
Yeah.
our movement is negligible to the moon or the sun or the stars or any of that. We can't make that
Uh,
change by our movement.
That's right. That makes absolute sense, complete sense.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and people they come up with a reason for it, or something that it moves, or in
Yeah.
one way or the other. But no,
Hmm.
I've never been able to imagine just a flat plate, if
Hmm.
if you will, with this sort of like machine underneath making it float up or something.
Right, right.
You know?
But it could be consciousness,
Yeah,
like in a video game.
consciousness.
They put the sun in
Yes.
the video game, and they tell it, look,
Yep.
just don't move, just be there, and then you can move all around in the video game, and the sun doesn't move. So it could be something like that, where it's like a
Yeah.
simulation and it only ever loads in a flat section of whatever part of the land you're in for you. And
Yes.
so I can see it. So I don't ever, people that believe in flat Earth, I'm totally cool with that,
Yeah.
because I can still make it work in my mind. It's just the current flat Earth model doesn't work for me. But
Yeah.
it still can be flat, and their model is just flawed because
Energy.
NASA
Yeah.
definitely lied about everything. And everything that the
Oh,
flat
yeah.
Earth is built on is good information, but I don't draw the conclusion that the Earth's flat from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I've looked into it a lot, though.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but we did too, because it's absolutely a spin out. How you could look so far, like and it would have gone over the horizon, like those videos out. But yeah, I the consciousness thing. That's where I totally went to about like a video game like Mario Kart. You can't see the next screen until
Right.
So we're all in this one collective consciousness of the rules of the game, if you like, and then we all have our little individual consciousnesses connected to our higher consciousness.
Right.
But yeah, but we make it all up as we go, and we could change it if we wanted to. If everybody felt the same thing, we
Yeah.
could make it into a star, and
Yeah.
anything's possible. Do you know? I think
Yeah,
anything's
yeah.
possible.
It could be heart shaped. I think that would be pretty cool.
Oh, wouldn't it be beautiful? Oh,
And then we
oh,
have to get in an argument of, is it a flat heart or a 3D heart? Is it?
oh yeah, I thought 3D instantly.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I thought it would be cool. I mean, I don't have any dog in the race, so to speak. If it was flat,
No.
I would totally love that. I think it'd be interesting. Just like the Mandela effect, I would totally be like, oh my gosh, it's flat, And I think
big
it'd be
trip.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would if it was going to be flat for me, I would think it would be we're a pond on a bigger Earth, or a bigger something. That's what I
Yeah.
would think. If that was mine, I haven't come to the conclusion about a plate being in the air, sort of thing, like I've heard.
Yeah, and
'cause
that's sort of been
yeah.
my thing with it. I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I think their calculations might be wrong about the size. I think we might be way bigger, spinning way much faster than what they're saying. And or they're like, trying to cut out. There's so many reasons why they might be avoiding. Have you seen where they show how the plateaus are really tree trunks and that the trees used to be
Yes.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that. And I
Oh, me
totally,
too.
I can see them avoiding a certain area because there's still trees there and it's stuff they don't want people to see or something
Yes.
like that. So I've really thought about this a lot and why they might want to avoid
Yeah.
a certain area. There could be a whole continent that we're not allowed to go. Maybe there's a different race living there and they're like, hey, do not fly over
Yes.
our area. So I can think of a lot of plausible things, before I
Yeah.
sort of get to, the flat Earth idea,
Yes. Oh, no, me too. Definitely.
You
I
can tell
definitely-
I could tell
yeah.
you thought about it a lot too.
Yeah, yeah. And the Earth's hollow, and there's different, lighter skinned beings
Yeah.
inside the shell of the Earth in different places. Yeah, and that's where the reptilian race comes from, deep down, and all different things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
or the
it's
aliens all
amazing,
come
isn't it?
from that's other place, and we just think they're from another planet, but they're really from this other,
Yeah,
That's crazy.
place in our Earth
Yeah.
realm, yes. But everything exists in the same sort of time and space, and nothing is solid either. If we
Right.
remember that,
Yeah.
it's so. It's like when we were a child. You remember? I'm imagining the end of the universe, and if that was a brick wall, what would be on the other side of that?
Yeah.
I used to imagine that.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that now, but in a different way. We're thinking interdimensionally now, aren't we?
Yeah,
Do you know?
totally.
We are. It's
Yeah.
like we're children again. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to be open-minded because it's like, if you sort of get into a certain, that's why I can't subscribe to the globe thing completely, because
No.
I don't want to miss something that, you make yourself blind to any other ideas. And I think that's sort of the
Yeah.
trap with, thinking you figured it out when you have no proof to really say you figured it out. The ball makes sense to me, but I'm not dead set on that because I don't want to miss anything that might point to something that I haven't even thought of yet,
That you've said some very profound words there as well. I think once we think of something as rigid as in that's it, finalized in our brain, that's the way it is, then we become rigid as in solid, and a little part of us dies off. And I think if we became stay malleable in our minds and think anything's true, like anything could be true, we don't wipe anything out. We stay flexible, and then our bodies don't go so stiff as we get older. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So.
And I think a lot of times that's how they hide things in plain sight, is because they've got us thinking that certain things aren't even possible. So even if we see something, we don't even think that's possible, so our brain just ignores it. You know what I mean? There could be giants walking around, and if we don't think they're possible, but we won't even see them. They could be the size of a building, So
yeah. So that is so true, because do you remember as a child, your parents have to, there was a story on it, but your parents have to teach you to see those really big ships on the horizon, because you can't see them until somebody shows you one, because you can't actually see it until once someone's shown you one, then you can see one for yourself from then onwards. But if nobody shows you one, you won't ever actually see one on the horizon. Those big retainer ships, the container ships, that's the one, the big container ships. And so there was somebody, a channel, doing a story on that, and I remember my mum, when I was a child, when I was about 7, showing me. I couldn't see the ship, and when she showed me, I could see it, and then I could see others for myself as well. Yeah. So that would be the same thing, isn't it? It's sort of like it resonates with what I resonate with what you say. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that happened with the Spanish Inquisition or whatever, when they came in on the ships. They didn't see them coming until they were already getting off the ships and running onto the sand, because they never saw anything come over the water.
No. There was like thousands and thousands of ships. Yes, the Armada, wasn't it? The Armada and the Inquisition's the same thing, wasn't it? Was it the Armada? Was the ships, wasn't it, of the Spanish Inquisition? Yeah.
And it could be that way in the sky, you just. And I think people are waking up, though. They're starting to look for stuff, and more cameras are around and handy. So I'm really surprised we're not seeing more as far as footage.
Yeah, me too. I've seen some different orange and pink, what I would call planets in the sky on some channels. A channel this morning, actually, like a new guy with an English accent. Actually, he must come from the same part as I did in England. Ken, he's got the same accent. But anyway, he's filming. People send things into his channel, and they're seeing like next to the sun orbs, of course, and also red planets, pinkish planets, or different. Well, he's not saying they're planets, but they look like planets to me. That are in our galaxy. Yeah. I think there are things everywhere, just as we can't see them. Yeah.
Well, when I noticed how people weren't noticing the sun is a different color, or the iridescence, the rainbow colors in the clouds, I'm like, man, there could be stuff up there all the time, and people aren't noticing these obvious things up there.
Yes.
It's like no one looks up; they're looking at their phone nowadays. It seems like.
Oh, that's right, isn't it? Everyone's looking down. I know. Yeah. And that's what they want us to do. Yeah. Well, when we're looking down, we really think we're looking up, into knowledge, but really, you've got to get a balance of both, I think. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And then the sun being so much harsher now, no one wants to look up. It's like, oh, that's harsh. I can't look up towards the sun. Every time I try to show my wife something, she's like, I don't want to look up there. It just hurts my eyes too bad,
Yeah, it's really... it's white. Has it changed for you, Shane, from what you remember as a childhood? Has
Oh
it
yeah,
changed?
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't remember when it changed, do we? I mean, do
No,
you? No,
no, I
no,
sure don't.
no clue. No clue at all. Uh,
And it's funny, I was watching my son play this video game the other day, and they had the sun, it looked whitish blue, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's changing in video
oh,
games now, too. And it's like, what happened to
it,
our beautiful yellow sun? you know?
it's gone. I
Yeah.
know. I look at the sun at sunset, and I call my husband to come out. And he goes, "No, I don't want to look at it." And anyway, and it's white. It's at like a winter sun setting about 4:30 in the afternoon, 5:30, that type of time of day, and it's still white as it's just on the horizon. I would say about say 10 o'clock if I'm looking
hmm
at 9 o'clock. If 9 o'clock's the horizon, it's about
hmm
10 o'clock. Yeah. Um, yeah,
And
that's,
even then,
it's white.
it's even when it gets really low on the horizon and it does turn more yellow, it's not the same as it used to be. It used to be more orange at that time than it is now.
Yes.
It used to be really, really orange. Sometimes now it's like it turns a really red color it's all different. I mean, you can get to some of those more warm colors towards the horizon, but it's still not the same as when the sun was yellow, you know.
No, no, it's not. And can you look at when I look at the white sun when on the horizon when it's setting, if I look at it for long enough and just squint my eye and look at it, I can sort of see the black, the black lines in between the sun, like
hmm
like a grid, like a hexagonal grid. Like you
Mm.
might sort of imagine it because I've seen those bulb simulator suns they were building in the 1980s. Have you seen pictures of those on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
And
if
it's
they
like
line those up.
you might be seeing the reflector or something that they use.
That's but that might be in my mind and I might be creating that, you see. I'm not sure which
Yeah.
way.
And
So,
when I'm sun
yeah.
gazing, it creates a spot on your eyes, and that begins to change the color of the sun too. But I think that's happening inside your eye too because if you look away, you'll still see the
Yes,
colored dot that from the sun. Sort of,
that's right. It
yeah.
goes
But it'll
green.
look
It goes
It'll
green.
start looking purple and stuff too at a certain point when you stare long enough.
Yes, it's just
Yeah.
that purple because the opposite of green is purple. Actually,
hmm
yeah, there you go. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, yep, Sharon, that would happen. Yep,
Yeah. That's when I'm
absolutely.
sun eating, as Scott Light Warrior corrects us. Sun eating. Sun.
Sun eating.
Yeah.
Ah,
sun gazing or eating the sun.
eating the sun. That's a good one. That's a good
But
one.
technically, when we eat our food, plants and stuff, you're eating the sun indirectly.
Oh, there you go.
So as we evolve and ascend
Yeah.
and we get our light bodies, it's going to be like we can just eat the sun directly. So
Yes.
it makes sense.
Yes.
Hey, Susan.
It does, and we won't. Oh, a season. I can't
Yeah,
see
Susan
the
hopped in
net,
late.
so.
She's like, "Oh, you're
uh,
still here." Yeah.
Is everyone still here from the start, or have they gone from a conversation?
Oh no, no, they're all enjoying it. They're just chatting it
Oh,
up and chiming in,
yeah.
and yeah, it's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
So yeah, it
Just,
was a wonderful talk. I mean, I could go on for hours talking about all this stuff. This is just
I,
so cool to
me
me.
too. It is, isn't it? It
Yeah.
really is, and it can only be done. We're all spread out all over the planet as a grid to heighten the resonance of mankind,
Yeah.
to bring up the resonance. I was told that actually, because I looked at the 7-11 clock when I was 20. Like I started knowing the 11s from when I was 20. I saw 7-11 every morning, and
Mhm.
then one of my customers, because I used to do mobile hairdressing, she told me that we're the 11s people. I said, what are the 11s people? And she said, we're here to bring up the resonance, the frequency of mankind. And I said, when? And she said, I don't know, she said. And then I know now it's happening now.
Oh
But I was
wow,
told that, yeah, and I was told that about 20 years ago. Mm,
that's so
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I know some people have
Yeah.
been waiting for a long time. Like Angela that I had on, she was, she's been waiting for this whole thing since like 90. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't know to expect or look for this, because I don't know. I'm kind of glad to be a late waker, I guess.
Yeah, and you've come so far so quick, because what I learned over 20 years, you've learned in like a year, like with your
I have.
your spiritual side.
Oh, definitely. I've grown so much in a year. And I think, that's why I say religion was a stepping stone for me, because I don't really
Yes.
throw it out as being a big waste of time like I did before I woke up. I thought, I wasted so much time in religion and waiting for a rapture and all of this stuff. But really, in a way, it was an important stepping stone to where I am today. So I don't mind.
Very much so, because I suspect the reason why, or one of the reasons, because you felt it in your heart, Shane. Did you feel it in your heart? When I did with religion when I was younger, I asked Jesus into my heart. I felt the love. I felt it, because my friend told me to do that, because she was my best friend. She's still my best friend now. And she said, ask Jesus in your heart. I said, what's that? And she told me, and I did it, went to bed and did it. And it felt wonderful. I actually felt, I felt love in my heart. So
Totally, it's real. It's just, it's hard to separate what man has tacked on to all of that spiritual stuff, but it's very real, and it's, I can remember times feeling the Holy Spirit in church, and I felt it since then, and I'm like, well, it's not like the church sort of has the market cornered on the tingles and the chills, because I still get them, and I'm not in church anymore.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, it feels the same. You got that same resonance. You remember it, the same frequency. It's the same feeling. And when you get that feeling, that's truth. That's the most truthful thing. That is just unconditional love. When I first meditated and felt that as an adult, I looked here come to the corners of my eyes while I was meditating. And I saw the white light as well physically, with my eyes closed, and I thought my teacher turned a light on. And afterwards I said, did you turn a light on during meditation? And she said, no, of course not. You wouldn't do that. That would bring everybody out of it. And I actually saw white, really white light with my eyes closed.
Wow.
And I still do. It's to the left side, just at about 1 o'clock. Yeah.
And I'll get sparkles like that, like just the sparkle right, and it'll be almost in the center of my vision with my eyes closed while I'm meditating, but like just a little sparkle of light, and then it sort of fades away or will appear somewhere else. And sometimes I get like this purple. It's almost like a flame that sort of, my eyes are closed, but it's going over my field of view. Do you get that when you're meditating?
Yes, I get all different colors in there.
I always think that's the violet flame people talk about, because it seems like a violet flame.
And I tell you something, that's your third eye, because that's the color of the third eye. The amethyst crystal that was it April Albuquerque was talking about. She got a crystal as a gift, but she kept taking it back. Anyway, that's your third eye. The purple, that's the crystal that balances the chakra for your third eye, and the purple flame is when your third eye opens, and that's your all-seeing eye. That's what we see. We're not looking with our eyes, our actual eyes. Yeah, and you're very clairvoyant, actually. Like at the moment, like if you see all that already, that's amazing, Shane.
I wish I'm always wanting more, though. It's like more.
You'd be very, very good at psychometry.
Oh, really?
Do you know what psychometry is?
No.
Have you heard of the word? Okay, it's when somebody gives you a personal object and you say, I accept that with love, and you put it to your third eye with your eyes closed, and then you'll start seeing things like you just see, like you said, your little sparkles or your flame, and you might see like two people kissing, or you might see a river, and and you remember, and you write it all down when you finish,
Mm-hmm.
and then and when you say those things back to the person, they resonate with that. They say, that was the lake I was there last week, they say, and then that's what I did then, and it's a reading. That's how you do a
Oh,
reading for
wow.
somebody. It's called psychometry. It's got to be a personal object that they've worn for a while, and they say, and the way it must be done, they've got to say, I give you this object, I give you this with love. You say, I accept this with love, and then when you give it back, you say, I give it back with love, and then they say, I accept it with love. So that's like a sort of, yeah, you can't just sort of take something of someone and sort of read them, because that's like interpersonal reading. You've got to, it's like asking for permission, really.
Right, it's the etiquette or whatever. Yeah. So it's another thing that I see quite a bit are like the sky and trees. Like I'll get like the perfect. It's almost like someone's playing a video in my head of just looking up at the leaves on a tree, like green leaves, and I'm just sort of looking through the leaves at the sky behind it, sometimes with clouds, and it's like this perfect image. It's like I'm just picking up on some sort of feed of some sorts,
That's amazing. I have not seen that. I see like little dots, little stars, and then they join together and make up objects and things like that. But wow, that's amazing. No, I have seen I have seen trees. Actually, I'm closing my eyes now, and I'm seeing trees. Funny enough, but not with purple behind them. It's with red, because that's probably because daylight.
Right.
Yeah. Is that what you mean? Like you see the sky and you're seeing stars behind them? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, it's like in the daytime, like the daytime sky with trees, and it's like I'm just almost like somebody's just videotaping trees in the sky behind it, and I'm picking up the live feed of it or something, and I'll get more of that when I'm falling asleep too, but
oh yes, okay. So you're saying you actually see things, not like with your eyes closed, but you're like seeing things like a videotape, like a photograph or a live feed, like
yeah.
Yep. I see that too. I know.
And it's like when you're going to sleep, it's like you drift into that. I guess it's that whatever the lower brainwave is. And and I can tell that they're not from my brain. I can tell it's not like something I'm thinking about. I can tell I'm just picking up on this live feed of some sorts, and it's so wild because sometimes it'd be something like one time it looked like I was picking up on some kind of like a fair that had like off-duty police and firemen, like some kind of like outdoor barbecue, and some of them were, the reason I knew what they were, some of them had like their hat on or their coat on, and so you could tell it was like some kind of outdoor picnic or something, and I'm like, why am I seeing this? What is this? But that's been picking up more and more over the last year. So.
Wow, and you are really seeing this because you're telling me this as if it is a memory, and it is a memory because that means you've seen every detail.
Yeah,
it's just
and it's
like,
not mine, It's It's just like a thought form in the etheric realm or something that I'm just picking up, like you pick up a TV station or something is what it seems like. It's really wild.
Oh, Shang, you're such a pure soul heart there. You have so many guides around you and connecting with you, helping with you, and you've just and they've just set you off, and you're just rolling through this, aren't you? You're doing what it's taken me 20 years to do.
Really? That's cool. You know what? I wish I could remember it better. It's like, because typically I'll get these images, and that's why I was talking a few weeks ago about getting this app where it's like voice activated, and I can say what I'm seeing, because a lot of times the next day I won't remember all of it, and I think it could be important. It seems like just footage that doesn't mean anything, but I don't ever really know because I can't really remember it very well the next day, because I'll end up falling asleep and I just don't remember.
Yes. Yeah, because once you fall asleep, it's like you don't remember all your dreams. You only remember the last one you did.
Exactly.
When you wake up. But you know, the fireman and the policeman one has really stuck with you. The picnic, that's really embedded in your brain. That one,
Yeah.
hasn't it? It's resonated. Like, you may even go back to that one, or have you been back to it? And have you got like a group of them? Like, do you have the files?
That was just one. No, that was just one that I remember. Like, I saw it was some sort of, get together picnic sort of thing. And then as I watched it more and more and it got clearer and clearer, I could make out that it was like firemen and policemen. And I was like, why am I seeing this? And it puzzled me so much while I was seeing it. And I knew I've never been to any event or function like that.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't originating in my brain. My brain just, I don't see my brain just thinking of that randomly like that. So it was like I was just observing something. I don't know what it was from or whatever, but I remember sort of being puzzled by it and like, why am I seeing this?
Yeah.
And it just made me remember it. But I get a lot of stuff like that. I just don't, I guess if they don't puzzle me too much, I don't remember them,
Yeah, I tell you, the things that I remember, I tend to see later on, about 8 months later, and you'll come across that actual situation and go to yourself, oh my God, I've seen this, that's it. And then you say, this is going to happen and this bit's going to happen, and then it happens like that.
So I could be even seeing the future of something, huh?
Exactly. You could be seeing the past, the present moment as it's happening somewhere else in the world, or the future.
That's trippy.
Yeah, I've seen good things happen. I've seen births, and I've spoken to my nephew before he was born, who's now 14 years old, and things like that. I've seen the death of my granddad, and the actual picture, like the actual day, like exactly is what you're like, say what you're seeing. I saw him laying in the bed and everything, and I left that day and went, geez, I saw the exact scene 8 months ago, but my granddad's not dead. He's still alive. And I got home, and then I got the phone call, and they said it's time now. And I went, oh yeah, it was the time, So yeah, because I knew it was going to be the time. Because and that was 8 months previous. So, but don't be frightened, everybody out there, because just because you see something like that doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just doesn't. It's just
right. It's probabilities, right,
true.
Or possibilities.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's only a possibility. Yep. So,
Sherry says, now I want to go meditate.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
No. Because honestly, I have seen some things, things like deaths that haven't come to pass that would have within 2 years. So, and they didn't. So that was a probability thing. So actually, that was my mum, and she did die, and then she had a pacemaker put in, and she survived. So there you go. It didn't happen. So yeah, she has an MS. But she did die like 9 times before. And they kept sitting her up, and every time they did, the heart would kick in, and the helicopter came and everything like that, and so she survived. So, and she's still surviving. That's 2 years later. So, but I saw my mum in a sort of a open coffin thing before that. So there you go. So it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
So it's
Totally.
a possibility. Yeah. So there you go.
And it's not final anyway. It's just this play we find ourselves in,
That's right. I believe in the Mandela effect. You might just wake up in the next Earth,
Right.
Absolutely do. Yeah, that was my very first thought, actually. Like Scarra Performance was saying it, and what's his name? The other guy who they used to be bro-mates.
Matrix. Life Matrix?
Yeah, Life Matrix. Yeah. I've always liked Life Matrix from the start, and these hotels.
Yeah, I had him on once with Nathan. He hopped in for a few minutes and chatted
yes.
with us.
Yeah. Oh, and I also love Uni Rock, and I forgot to tell you, because I found him with Dr. Lupo. So that was and
a lot of people found me through him being on his show, because I only had a couple hundred
Yeah.
subscribers, and he had around 1,000 or something, and I picked up like, I don't know, a dozen or so subscribers that came from
That
him. So
that was Dr. Lupo, you say, yeah.
that
Is
was
that what you meant?
Unirock.
Oh,
Yeah,
Unirock. So yeah,
yeah.
because you went. Yeah, I didn't see you on Unirock. I didn't see you on Dr. Lupo, but I did notice you went from a few subscribers to a lot, and I knew those two people, but I met you.
Independent from
Different
those.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no connection, but I felt connected immediately.
Totally.
So it was, yeah. And I even wrote my first comment. If you go when I first subscribed, I said, yeah, this channel's going to soar. It's going to be big. It's going to go far. I wrote that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. Wow. Well, I must be talking for hours now. Oh, look, there you go. It's 1:11. It's 11 minutes past 1 for me.
Oh, is it?
As I
Yeah,
just looked
it's
at the
10:11. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that synchronicity? That means it must be time to say goodbye for now. And,
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming on again. It's been a wonderful chat, and everyone else enjoyed it, and they're all talking about synchronicity. So lots of love and light to everyone in the chat as well.
Love and light to everybody in the chat and all the people that you know. I'm just sending you all the love and light out now. And to you, Shane.
Yeah,
and
come
to your
back
family.
soon. Yeah, to you and your family.
I will.
They're in the future.
Yes, we are. We always will be in the future, just out of reach.
Yeah, we're
But
pulling up the caboose here at the end of the train. Time train.
Yeah. I used to live in England and feel like that, though. I used to be in the past too.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in the past to England too, though. But,
oh God, you really are.
yeah, we really are back here.
Yeah, you're almost in Hawaii, really.
Yeah. Goodness.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, that's good. Then okay. Now you can warn us of what's not to do to make our future. You see? There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, you enjoy your Saturday
Shane.
afternoon. Lots of love and light to you.
Thank you. Love and light to you, Shane.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye for now. Bye, everybody. Bye in the chat. Bye. Love and light. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, that's so awesome. Let's see. Nicola in Australia. We would pronounce it Nicole, so I have a problem with thinking Nicole here. I had a childhood friend growing up. Whoops. I was trying to send her a heart and I botched it. Sorry, I botched that heart. I sent her a hashtag. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to close it down for this session of the Friday Night Love Stream. It is already pretty much Saturday morning for most of the world now anyway. And I will be back with Eileen for the Power of 8 at 8. So please do join. That's going to be at 1 a.m. GMT. And, it's 1313. That's funny. For Nicola. Yeah, it was fun, Nancy. And, man, I could just chat for hours about all that fun stuff. And I've got to do some homework and try to figure out what that story was about the guy that traveled to the 9th planet. It bothers me that I cannot find it again. I can't remember it. It's like, and then, the more I look and I can't find it, the more I'm like, man, did it get Mandela affected away? Did they suppress it? Why can't I find that story again? But anyway, if I'm supposed to find it, I'll find it. Maybe I'm not supposed to find it. So lots of love and light to everybody in the chat. And join us for the Power of 8 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 1 a.m. GMT, if I'm not mistaken. UTC. I think that's what Diana told me. So with that, I will leave you guys. Have a good one. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.